welcome to Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna
and Marnie. Doesn't work unless I do my little...
Yeah.
You guys don't know this, but I do a little... what do you call this? I always refer to this as my little pageant girly.
Cute face.
Yeah.
It's similar to the emoji with the girl flicking her hair type of thing.
Oh, it's not completely different.
But,
it's hands under the chin.
Looking cutesy. But again, I don't understand why.
All my cute girl listeners listening, you know what I'm talking about. All you uggos.
God. Ah, that's really nice. Nice way to greet our listeners.
Listen, lads, I've got a story for you today.
Go
I'm
on.
only going to say, here comes Marnie with her stories all the time. I almost lost my phone today.
No.
Yes.
How? I'm
on the bus. Got to get off and get another bus. And you know I hate getting the bus. The bus is the ghetto. And I can say that.
As someone who takes the bus frequently.
As someone who gets the bus. Honestly, something has happened since we've come out of lockdown. People are acting like it's 2012 again.
No, there's just too many people on the bus. And also people
playing music on the bus.
Putting their feet barefoot on the bus.
Preaching at 8 a.m.
It's the vomit for me.
Oh, I got the night bus the other day. Two girlies were sat there being like, I hope no one notices. We walked to the back of the bus. I said, something smells like vomit.
Oh.
Turn around to leave. Vomit.
Oh my God.
So one of you's thrown up here. Anyway, I was on the bus today.
Yeah.
It was daytime. I was on the day bus. It was not on night bus. Night bus is a completely different animal. On the bus. Oh, gotta get off. Put my phone in my pocket.
Yeah.
Get up. Walk down the stairs. See a guy leaning over the side, looking down. I was like, what's he looking down for?
He's checking you out.
I don't know what bus stop we're at. Get off the bus. I've got to get on another bus. So I reach in my pocket. Where is my phone?
Oh my God.
Where is my phone? Where is my phone? Where is my phone, Shoshanna? Where is my phone? I've got up to the second bus.
Yeah.
He's opened the doors. I'm standing there.
Yeah.
I go back to the first bus, which is behind it. I'm like, please let me on, please let me on. Bus driver opens the door. I'm like, sorry, I didn't finish my sentence. Run past him, go up the stairs, go back to my seat. Empty.
Oh my gosh.
The bus is empty. I go back down the stairs. I'm looking.
Yeah.
I'm looking the whole way. When I tell you, it can't have been 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Get off the bus, I say, not again.
Again? Okay, look.
Rewind.
I was gonna have mercy on you.
Rewind to summertime. I'm in a Zara. One thing about me, I'm going to go to a Zara. I'm in a Zara, listening to my music, my little Bluetooth headphones. Suddenly, music's starting to cut out. I go, oh, why is that happening? Reach in my pocket, where is my phone?
Oh my God.
Somebody has pickpocketed me in the Zara.
No.
And when I tell you, there was a woman who every single time I went up to look because it was closed, was also there. And I was like, this is annoying. I'll go somewhere else. I thought, oh, she just wants to look at the same clothes as me. No, she was trying to get near me, take my phone out of my pocket. I looked everywhere, could not find that phone. Had to go and get a completely new phone. Had to go into the iTunes. The only good thing that came out of this was I went to the Apple store to buy the phone. And because of some weird glitch in their system, I couldn't get the Apple Care, like a monthly payment. So they paid for 2 years of Apple Care for me.
Whoa, okay.
So I was like, I could lose my phone 4 times in a year.
Yeah, I mean...
It wasn't the plan. I wasn't planning to do that.
Yeah.
But did I have a flashback to that moment today when I was like, where's my phone?
So where was it?
At this point, I'm like, I've lost my phone. Someone pickpocketed me again. I have a new coat. And I was like, I can't believe you did this to me, new coat. You're my new coat. I love you so much. And you did this to me? You did this to me, new coat? I go up to the bus again. The bus that I was trying to get on. Get there. Get my purse out. And this man, the man who was leaning over earlier, was walking towards me holding my phone.
Oh my gosh, the Good Samaritan.
I ran up to him. I grabbed his hand.
Yeah.
And I don't like to touch people. I'll let you know this right now about me. I don't like to touch people. I don't like people touching me. I grabbed his hand. I said, thank you so much. Thank you so much. He said, that's nothing. I didn't know whose phone it was.
That's so nice.
So I didn't know who to give it to. I said, it's mine. Thank you so much. You don't understand. My day was about to plummet. Yeah. I was on my way to a meeting. I was like, how am I going to text my colleague to tell them I'm running late? How am I going to... Everything is in that bloody phone.
Yeah.
And here is it back in my hand. So, ladies, lads, hold your phones dear tonight.
Yeah.
Because I've been clutching my phone all day. And I get to my meeting, I tell my colleague, and he's like, why don't you put it in your pocket?
Wow.
You didn't listen to my story, clearly. Because my pocket don't work.
That being said, anytime I do leave a place, because I've lost so many things, I turn back just to take one last look. And some people do think that I'm looking at them. I'm like, no, I'm looking at my seat to make sure that I have not left anything, because I've lost a lot of scarves. I know.
Scarves?
I know.
I like she has a £1,000 scarf. Because I got £1,000 in.
It's one of those expensive, off the market type of scarves.
It's a Chanel scarf.
Remember the time I lost my scarf in a theatre and we went all the way back to that theatre to go and find it?
No.
Yeah, well, we did. Because, and I'm telling you, that scarf was probably less than £10 off the market, but it's still sentimental.
No, you're right. It's not nice to lose your stuff. I mean, the thing that's crazy was clearly when I thought I'd put it in my pocket, I hadn't.
Yeah.
And he'd seen it on the chair and picked it up and was leaning over the side to be like, hello, has anyone lost their phone? I didn't even look at him. I said, oh, someone's thirsty.
Maybe the motto is not just look back to see your phone, but also look up to see your man.
The motto is, just keep your phone in your hand, you dumb bitch. That is the motto. And honestly, the way he was just like, it's nothing. And I was like, you don't.
No, he's also a good
I was
Samaritan
holding
part.
onto him.
Yeah.
I'm probably shaking.
I would have been too. Like, you don't...
I could have kissed that man. I didn't think he wanted me to, but I could have.
That being said, because your phone is basically everything.
Unfortunately,
it's your life because it's your form of communication with people. It's your
count my steps.
I was like, mind you, the list of important things: communicating with loved ones and my alarm. Really,
I can't tell the time.
Yeah, okay.
I have a watch on. That's my watch.
Calculated because people can't split bills.
It's my emails.
Your emails, your bank cards.
If I'm out of the office.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It's so much.
My back, yeah, exactly. Now I'm having to see if I've got my purse on me.
Yes, that's the thing. How many times have I left my house? I'm like, I don't have any cards on me. And sometimes I had to go back, especially if I didn't have ID. ID is like one of the big things.
I went somewhere on Saturday and they were like, can I see your ID? And I said, I don't have my ID on me. And he said, I can't give you this.
No.
And I said, this is, do you know what?
You know what? I'm going
to go to the corner shop and they won't even ask me for ID. You idiot. You could have made some business today. Now you're not. So yeah, that happened to me today. My life flashed before my eyes and I said, I will never make this mistake again. And then spent the whole day double checking my pocket. Where's my phone? Literally, that's all I did all day. So.
I'm very glad you had it and you found it.
Thank you.
I think it's time for us to go to Pop Culture News.
Pop Culture News!
Woo!
I would like to take a minute to gather all the Azealia Banks fans. Come
Party
close.
of one.
Excuse me. Do you know what? Go on to TikTok right now. There is a TikTok that has 746,000 views.
Wow.
And it says, 212 by Azealia Banks was released 11 years ago.
And where's the album?
Literally, where's the album? But can I just tell you where I was when I heard this song? I come home from uni. It's either Christmas time or it's Easter time or summertime. One of the times. I'm at home. I turn on MTV Music Base. Because I love to listen to some hip-hop.
That was the vibe though.
I was a big MTV2, MTV Base listener.
I was MTV Base, MTV Hits.
Yeah.
But not 2.
Because you're 200 years old.
No, because I don't like 2. I don't like MTV 2.
Yeah, you listen to Hits. Hits is just Katy Perry songs.
I didn't mind.
Yeah.
Also, Base and Hits almost blended into one.
No, Hits is for last Friday night. That's what it is.
Yeah, I was fine with that.
Yeah, and I was on Base being like, what you gonna do when I appear?
Yeah, I always listened to Base, but MTV2 was like the alternative, like,
MTV2 had woo-hoo!
But every now and again, it would trip into MTV Hits. So what's the point of me trying to go into these alternative styles? I can just stay with the hits.
We don't need to get into the MTVs because MTV2, when I discovered it in secondary school, changed my life. I'm a completely different human being.
Can I just say, it's very sad that there's people in secondary school
who
they don't even know what MTV looks like with music.
Should we explain it to the kids really quickly?
MTV for them is Nelly
So there was
Rhodes.
MTV, which was just like shows.
Yeah.
Then there was MTV Bass, which was for hip hop and R&B.
Yeah.
MTV2 was rock and like emo music. Hits was like pop.
Yeah.
VH1, which was like classic, your little classics.
Classics, yeah. What other MTVs were there?
There was other MTVs, but I don't remember.
No.
There was oh, I can't remember. What was the?
There was actually VH1
Channel U.
Channel U.
Channel U for your crime and urban music.
Yes. Channel U.
That's where you would hear music by people who grew up near you. You'd be like, what the hell? Everyone could be a rapper.
And then people were there filming outside your yard and be like, really? Underground artists, basically.
That's where I heard of Tinty Strider.
Yes.
Tiny Temps.
Yeah.
Roll Deep, which I still love to this day.
Chipmunk was there.
Chipmunk, oh, who's that person? Lethal Bizzle.
Yeah.
Kano.
So Solid Crew. And So Solid Crew definitely elevated from Channel U to MTV Hits. No, MTV Base to MTV Hits.
Nah, they didn't make it.
No, they did.
When I told you, Channel U was almost exclusively UK urban acts.
Yeah.
That probably never made it to Base. The Base was chart music. It was chart music.
So Solid Crew charted. So Solid Crew.
Yeah, but not their first songs.
No, but when they hit 21 seconds,
21 seconds.
21 seconds.
Mate. Anyway.
Yeah.
MTV2.
Yeah.
Absolute hits. Fast forward 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe not even 10, 5. I come back from uni. I'm at home. I'm like, this is bits. My house is the exact same as it was when I was a child. But I am now a woman. So I'm telling myself, I'm switch it on, put it on TV Base. Who is this woman in 4 braids?
Yeah.
With this random white guy in the video. It's black and white. And the beat starts. And I'm like, oh, this is like... I like this beat.
Cool, yeah.
Hey, I can't be the answer. I was like, she can't. I think she's the answer. And honestly, from then I was like, oh, yeah. This is it. If I made music, that's what it would sound like.
Yeah.
Except for I'm not American and I don't have the accent. So it'd be like, I can be the answer.
What's that girl's name? Not Azealia Banks. The other Azealia from...
Iggy Azalea.
Iggy Azalea.
But she raps like she's American.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No. I'm sounding like Lady Sovereign. That's what we sound like. Lily Allen.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, yeah, the closest sounds are Lily Allen in terms of us.
Lady Dynamite. If she made house music, that'd be me.
Yes.
I heard that song and my life was transformed. It was uplifted. And
wow.
11 years ago. I would have been 19 years old.
Yeah.
11 years.
I mean, for me, that song was more like in the clubs. At uni, really.
My uni was not cool enough to play that song. Sorry.
Oh, really?
Maybe your uni was, mine wasn't.
No, I mean, it was towards the end of the night music.
Anyway. Azealia, I am a stan.
When are you going to get the album, though? I just don't understand all that chat.
If Azealia Banks ever came to UK, I would spend my entire salary to go and see her.
Has she not come?
No, I didn't. Oh, she has maybe when I was much younger and I wasn't going to concerts like that. But
I think
I just love that song. And I honestly know that at any time I've ever been out where that song came on, I have lost my shit.
Yeah. I think, is it too much to say? I say this as Marnie is definitely losing her mind.
I am. I can hear it in my head.
Absolutely losing her mind. Is it too
late
presumptuous
to
to
say
say?
sorry?
No. Is it presumptuous to say...
She never made a good song after that. Listen to that. Pouring one out for the queen. Pouring one out for the absolute queen.
If you can hear that, that is...
That was glug, 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 Azealia Banks.
Azealia pouring herself a drink.
Oh, God.
Would you say that Azealia Banks paved the way for any female rappers today?
Yeah.
Who? Doja?
Nicki Minaj.
No, please. Or Jare, please. Nicki Minaj,
fam, dead in a ditch before Azealia Banks came out.
No, I'm done. No.
Obviously, she'd already done... What's that song? Not Super Bass. The one that all the kids like. No, it is Super Bass.
Yeah, Super Bass. What was
that
first? Yeah.
That one before, she was Nicki.
What's
Anaconda was like... I remember Anaconda was
later.
Everywhere.
Anaconda was a lot. But that point, I was like...
Yeah, Anaconda was
much.
when... I feel like I was peak Nicki.
Yeah, peak BBL.
Peak Nicki.
Yeah.
Super Bass I wasn't really feeling. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't feeling it. It was too poppy for me.
She did another song that I really liked and I can't remember it.
Not Doja. No, Doja is brilliant. I love Doja Cat.
I do like. Do they? All the female rappers
Should we go see Doja Cat when if she ever comes to the UK?
Uh,
I would love to see Doja actually.
I like her, but I just don't think I know enough of her songs.
But also, I think you probably do.
The big hits I do.
I think you probably
also,
do.
Because
there's so many of them are TikTok sounds that you've probably heard them and you don't even realise.
That's true. That being said, also, I feel like Doja Cat does care a lot about her image in terms of like, she'll create a show. Like, I feel like I will get a good performance from her. So maybe I'll change my mind. Yeah, maybe I will go.
I love Doja. Anyway, I feel like we're getting away from the Queen. The Queen of rap. The Queen of rap, for me, Azealia.
Wow. That is a very...
and I'm technically a Barb.
Wow.
I found out the other day because I know a lot of Nicki Minaj songs.
I'm
not a Barb. There is no one whose music I love so much that I would excuse their behaviour. I guess apart from Azealia Banks.
Really?
I honestly think she's done a lot of stuff that's... problematic doesn't even cut it.
Oh, sorry, Azealia, 100%. But Nicki, even Nicki's getting problematic as well.
No, she is. In a way that I'm like, I don't like your music enough for you to behave like this. Azealia, Broke with Expensive Taste is a bop and a half of an EP. Fantasia, bop and a half of an EP.
Okay.
I love this bitch. I do. I love her accent. I love her little New York accent. There's this TikTok which is a meme of her talking. She's on The Breakfast Club. And she's talking about T.I. and how he's like, he lets people make fun of the fact that his wife can't read. And it is so fucking funny. She's so funny.
I think she's very quick with her
Yeah,
reads.
she's very
Can you
quick
imagine
with
her
her
like
reads.
Real Housewives or something like that?
No, she would destroy you. I told you. This is the same warning I gave you last episode when you were saying, I could take Azealia. No, you can't.
I'm not saying I can take her. I'm just like, I'm not going to just bow down.
I love you.
I'm not bowing down to her.
I'm saying I love you. And if Azealia Banks said, I'm going to kill your friend, I'd be like, I can't help you. I love you so much, but I can't help you. Wow. I wish you all the best.
The thing, I'm trying to look at a song that I actually really like from Nicki. Like, apart from, like, Super Bass and...
I like Moment for Life.
That's the song I was thinking of. I would have this moment for life. That's the song I was thinking of. I was like, there's another song I really like where it's a bit more slow bass. And...
I really like Stupid Ho as well. You're a stupid ho.
I mean, it's just not my vibe.
I do like her verse from Monster, if I'm being honest.
Maybe I just don't know.
Am I a Nicki fan?
You're a Nicki fan, I'm not. Like, where she does, like, maybe where she's, like, featuring on other people's...
Actually, as well. I like, what's that song? Truffle Butter.
Oh, I just saw it.
With her and Lil Wayne and Drake. I like her Lil Wayne and Drake, the triad.
But that was the thing at the beginning, and everyone thought she was with the two of them. Allegedly. Anyway, should we move on
so you're going to say happy birthday to 212 or no?
Yeah, happy birthday to 212 or 805. Should we have 805 to celebrate?
Happy birthday, 805!
Yeah. And for people who don't know, 805 is a Nigerian restaurant based in London.
Is it really?
Yeah. It's
where
Nigerian,
is it?
South?
South where?
I was going to say Oak Kent Road.
I think it's in... Is it in...
they have a couple
Deptford?
of chains. I think
that might have been, actually.
I think they have a couple of chains.
Anyway, that's not what this is
It's not about this, no. They have one in Oak Kent Road.
I haven't been to it. Why have we not been there?
I don't know. Well, we can use this to celebrate 212.
Get 805 to celebrate 212.
Yeah.
Then we love... Well, I love you. Honestly, you changed my life. I'm a better woman.
Wow. This is big.
You introduced me to the ballroom scene. Honestly,
wow.
I just don't think I would be this version of Marnie without you. And so
wow.
I just have to thank you.
Okay.
And I wish you would stop being problematic.
Yeah, and also, I think if you get off the problematic soapbox and get in the studio, I think, you could have your name back in the conversation. I think she can have her name back in the conversation with female rappers. Because everyone loves a redemption story. Look at Britney.
I personally think that what she does is actually separate from what the other girlies are doing.
Which I think is great. Which I think is why it would be good to have her in the conversation.
Are you calling Doja Cat a rapper?
Yeah, I see her as a rapper.
Okay.
As Marnie whips her hair back and forth.
I don't think of Doja Cat as a rapper. She's a singer to me.
I see her as a rapper. Or singer-rapper. Like, I think she does a bit like Drake.
We're gonna have to move on because
let's just move on because
the imagery of Doja and Drake as two.
Can you imagine if they do a song?
Two flip sides of the same coin.
Basically, one sings, one raps, and they flip the next verse. One raps, one sings.
Especially since Drake has fallen out of favour.
Oh yeah, he has. Oh, that's another pop culture news that I really want to talk about. Actually, speaking of Drake and Megan Thee Stallion,
can't wait for Azealia to drag break.
Yeah,
drag break. Drag Drake.
Yes,
Aubrey is about to get it.
So Drake did a joint album with 21 Savage.
Yeah, which is bizarre. I actually thought it was one song, and I realised there was many tracks.
No, it's like, why is this continuing?
I like 21 Savage though. He's English, so we have to.
Oh, is he?
He's British. He was born here.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, because when they were doing the ICE stuff in America, they were like, they're going to deport 21 Savage, and it's like, he's from the UK. It's like, yeah, deport him to the UK. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, So I only heard about this more from the controversy. So within the album, there are a number of different songs and raps where Drake makes a number of comments around women in general. Firstly, Serena Williams. And actually, no, Serena Williams' husband.
Serena and her husband.
Yeah.
Let's just say this. Drake has dated a lot of very influential black women. Rihanna.
Yeah. Oh, he tried with Rihanna. He tried.
He was in the pits with Rihanna.
Oh, he absolutely was.
He was in the pits with Rihanna. Serena Williams. Honestly, the idea that Serena Williams even gave Drake the time of day is crazy to me.
Yeah. She did a lot. And
she could use Drake to pick her teeth.
My guy was following her during her tournaments.
Drake is fucking soft. Like, I don't like to use the word moist, but he is the definition of that word.
Yeah.
Like, Drake is the guy who you're like, oh, do you know he won't stop calling me Drake.
Going back to Rihanna, it was unbelievable that he went on that stage in that award show and proclaimed his love for Rihanna.
Embarrassing.
Before he handed her the award, and my girl was like,
anyway.
Cool. I'm gonna go I'm gonna go and get with, what's his face?
With the Arab guy?
No, she was still with him, but who's the guy she's now with?
A$AP Rocky.
Yeah, I'm gonna get with A$AP Rocky, ASAP, and have a child with him. Also
get
ASAP.
with A$AP Rocky, ASAP. Drake, I have to believe, and maybe this is controversial, but I believe he must give really bad dick. He must, because why can't you keep any of these girls?
I don't know.
Not Serena Williams fucking a whole white man and having a baby.
The guy treats her well and he's a billionaire.
Yeah. So you must have been really bad, bruv. You must have been really bad. You're talking about her husband. You should be looking at yourself in the mirror. What did you do wrong?
Yeah, and the husband came back and was like, no.
Yeah, he is a fangirl. And your husband should be a fangirl of you. I don't want to date someone who's not a fangirl of me. Yeah. I'm going to be dating a Drake who's writing songs about me, but acting like he's not interested. Listen, I want my husband to be at all of my shows. When Scripts and Giggles have shows, my husband's going to be the one selling the merch. Yeah. About...
Imagine just like some random guy.
Hi guys, I am here to sell the merch. He's going to be the one selling the tickets, selling the merch. He's the opener for the show. He's up there doing 5 minutes of stand-up. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so done.
And everyone's like, who's this guy? It's like, I'd like to announce our two great guests tonight. One of them is my wife. And I want to deliver it that stunted as well.
Yeah.
No, he has no charisma.
Yeah, just like dry humor.
He's here because his wife is about to come on stage and he is just such a massive fan of her. He's crying and throwing up. That's how excited he is.
Lord.
That's what I want. I don't want a guy who's going to write lyrics and then in the daytime be Drake.
Messing around. He went out with...
Have a whole secret child.
I know. Oh my goodness.
Please.
Drake, if you watch Breakfast Club with, what's his face?
Charlemagne.
No, yeah, Charlemagne, but that infamous... Who's the guy that was like... The rapper that was like Drake, the guy that hid the well from the child.
Soulja Boy.
Yes.
Go back to this Drake album.
Drake meme.
There's two things happening at the moment, which is very interesting. One, there is a snippet in a song where Drake is sounding, according to the internet, quite fruity in the way that he's addressing 21 Savage. And so there are lots of memes of Drake basically trying to twerk on 21 Savage in that snippet, or being flirty or being fruity. in his coercion of 21 Savage to sing his verse. So that's one. The other thing is that he referenced Megan Thee Stallion.
That's the big thing, yeah.
In a lyric. And we do have to have a conversation collectively as a race and as people who listen to hip-hop music, as people who co-sign people like Drake, where we say, hey, you're not allowed to drag women of colour, specifically people like Megan Thee Stallion, who've been through trauma for the sake of your lyrics. I don't care if you're best friends with Tory Lanez, who first of all, who the fuck is Tory Lanez? I would die for Megan Thee Stallion. Yeah. I would not. I don't even know who the fuck Tory Lanez is, and I never will know. I've not listened to a damn Tory Lanez song, and I never will. The guy shot her in the foot.
Allegedly.
For me, goes Azealia Banks, Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah, and I think she's been able to really maneuver her image and her brand in this business. So I have to praise her 100%. She's someone who started from the bottom and got Beyonce on her song, won a Grammy with Beyonce, and is making herself big, been on SNL, partnering with Netflix. I think she's huge. I'm not going to deny that.
I respect all of the things that you said.
For background, and it's a court case now. It's a legal
case. He did it.
Tory Lanez shot...
Allegedly
shot Megan Thee Stallion in the foot. There's a video of Megan coming out of a car, limping with blood pouring out of her foot. And it has been, to this day, controversial because there's some people that believe that Tory did shoot her, whereas there are other parts of the internet that do not believe this thing. Do not believe that Tory shot her. It's become contentious. Tory Lane denies it. They're currently in a court case around it. Drake decides to make a lyric in his song that said, I can't remember.
Something about a stallion.
Yeah, like something about making reference to like.
While Shoshanna is looking for the lyric, I'm going to continue to talk about Megan Thee Stallion, who I'm obsessed with. She's funny as well. I love a funny girlie.
Yeah.
I love a funny girlie. I personally am not the market for her lyrics because I am, like I said, a God-fearing woman. I don't want to hear about sexy things in a song. But if I like sexy music, I would like her music. I just really respect a woman who's like, this is what I do. This is what I do. I don't mind if it's not necessarily what I would listen to. If you have your lane, you have your brand, you do your brand. Honestly, one day, that might be my brand. And I want to be able to be like, oh, I know exactly who I'm going to listen to. And I'm going to listen to Megan Thee Stallion. Also, she's a judge on one of my favourite shows, which is called Legendary. And it's a voguing show. And she's a judge on the first 2 seasons.
Ooh,
so
interesting.
I love her.
And the lyric that is in contention is, this bee lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion. She don't even get the joke, but she's still smiling.
I'm sorry.
I didn't give the Drake flow. I'm not going to do it now.
No, don't do it. Because he has a very specific voice. I don't want to hear it. I would say this. One time I told somebody said to me, what kind of music do you listen to? Drake. All college girls listen to Drake. And do you know what? That's actually a reference from Atlanta. They make a line about how girls who went to college like Drake. And in the episode where they go to Drake's house. Yeah. Do you remember that episode where they go to Drake's house and it's a party? And it's...
In Insecure?
No, in Atlanta.
No, I haven't watched it.
There's an episode in season 2 where they go to Drake's house for a party. Drake has fallen out of my esteem. I'm sorry. Honestly, never mind. Sucked ass.
Yeah.
I'm having a debate with someone at work where they said that Honestly Nevermind was a better house album than Beyonce's Renaissance. And I said, you've lost your fucking mind. That album sucked ass. There was one good song in there.
I have to be honest, I've never
Don't listen to it. It's a waste of your time.
But also, I feel like a lot of the work is reflected in the way it's rolled out. And I feel like with Honestly Nevermind, it felt like the rollout was very lazy.
It was flop energy.
So it didn't really give anything. Whereas the rollout for Beyonce was like...
Also flop energy.
Yeah, it wasn't... Where's the visuals?
Where are the visuals?
Where's the video? No, the rollout in the pre-launch, like with, the release of the single, with all the boxes and the
next year.
Next year,
Grammy,
I know she's up for a Grammy, but
I think we'll get visuals next year.
To me, as a Beyonce fan, sorry, we're gonna go back to Drake, but as a Beyonce fan, it doesn't make sense.
No, I agree with you.
When we've been so used to her dropping visuals before even the full album is released, dropping a whole film about the album and broken into mini segments with each song. That doesn't make sense. The Black is King Oh my goodness, that was a movie.
Lemonade.
What's it called? B-Day had a video for every single song.
Lemonade was a whole film.
Lemonade was a whole film. And then Renaissance, nothing.
No, you're right.
But dust.
No, you're right. But
okay, sorry.
I'm telling you,
to Drake.
Drake's house album was pedestrian. And I honestly say that with love to me.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, it just wasn't that good. I honestly feel like Drake is moving into an era right now where he's really, it's almost like the same with Kanye. It's like these rappers who we like love, that love has gone to their heads and they just feel like they could do and say anything. And we're like, no, wait a minute, you're behind times.
Yeah.
We don't like that.
Yeah. Actually.
And let's not forget, the people who buy your music, the people who come to your concerts are women.
Yeah. And
if you alienate women, good luck.
Yeah. And actually with Drake, even more so than Kanye.
I've seen Drake live.
Is he good?
I really enjoyed the concert.
Oh, okay.
I know a lot of Drake songs.
Was it because of the music or was it because of the performance?
The whole thing was good.
Oh, okay.
I've seen Drake live and I really enjoyed it. I went with a friend. We had a really good time. It was at the concert. I was like, oh, I know a lot. I must know a lot of Drake songs. Would I go and see him again? No.
I think...
Because in that time, from when I saw him in 2017...
to now.
He's not made something that I want to go and see.
Yeah.
Like,
I think this era...
Scorpion? Fine.
Yeah.
Album. Fine. The album before that...
What was the Views?
Views had 2 good songs on it. The album before that, the one that he did with Passion Fruit's on it. I can't remember what it's called. Again, 2 good songs.
I would say probably only Passion Fruit was a good song.
Yes, yeah. Passion Fruit is the only good song.
I would say
that I'd be nice when I said 2.
Yeah, the era that he's currently in, where most rappers sometimes, or most artists,
you become a dad apparently, and you become a flop.
Complacency.
You become a dad and you become a flop. Yeah. That's what I've learned. He tried to have a secret baby.
Yeah.
You know why? Because the way that Drake was aggressively pursuing these black women.
Yeah.
And ended up having a child with a white sex worker. I think sex work is important work. Yeah. First of all.
Yeah.
And I believe that woman must have been doing that damn work.
Yeah. Yeah.
To get to where she's got to have that kid, she was doing the damn work. So I respect that.
But either way,
Drake is a big flop. Because when it comes down to the war between Drake and Meghan the Stallion, the girlies are behind Meghan.
And then we're going to just...
Both of them have been on SNL, and honestly, fine. Equal levels of fine. So, it's not even like the SNL wars. It does come down to SNL. And honestly, Meghan was on a show where Carisha, I think she's JT on Girls.
Yeah, yeah.
She has a talk show now.
Yes, and with Diddy. Diddy's like producing it.
Anyway, we're not getting into that.
No,
that's another time.
That's another day, yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion was on that, and I was like, this is the most entertaining talk show I've seen in a long time.
Wow.
But they're both like, I like girls. Do you like girls? She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah. Would you get with me? She's like, yeah. I was like, yeah. I was like, not you two playing on the show. I was like, give me half an hour more of this shit. What's going on? They're both of them being like, you're hot. No, you're hot. And I was like, this is 2022. Yeah. It's 2 people being on a talk show and being like, you're actually very sexy. It's like, so are you. You're like, oh my God, should we have sex sometime? Because we live in a time where people are not confined by gender roles. You fuck who you want to fuck. That's what I want to live in. Not me personally. Yeah. But that's the entertainment I want to watch. I would be like, oh my God, what if these 2 people got together?
Well, I think I saw snippets of those interviews. I was like, yeah, probably did it right after the interview.
I was like, these 2 people are evenly matched. For once.
They have the same
I'm tired of watching men and women and you're like, the man is a 2 and the woman is a 10.
Yeah.
No. Now I'm looking at 2 women who are 8s. Let's do it. I would pay to watch.
For all the chat you gave her Meghan Thee Stallion, you give her an 8?
I never want to give anyone a 10.
Wow. This is giving me...
I've spoken about this at work. I don't give anything a 10 unless I've watched it before.
Wow.
Yeah. I have to watch something at least 3 times to be like, that's a 10. That's a show that's a 10.
Well,
I don't know how you rank people, but most people, even if they're incredibly hot, 8.
Wow. You know what? I think it's good. Humbled them. Made them have to work for that extra 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think 2 is how much they love the Lord.
I am done. That's part of my original ranking. We'll talk about that.
And I want to know how often you go to church. Yes, that's an extra 1 point. So now you're a 9.
That's a couple of points.
How often do you pray? That's the 10. And when how often you go to church, how often you pray, then I'll
Yeah.
know if you're a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
No, but we have to be serious now.
Yeah.
In short, Drake is in his flop era,
Yeah.
along with Kanye. Two of them
Yeah.
can get in the same boat
Yeah.
on their way to Flop
Island.
Island. They are rowing there as well. The boat was a flop, surprisingly. So they've got to row to Flop Island. Meghan is in Bop Island.
Ooh.
As is Azealia Banks. Sorry, she's on Bop Island. The problem with
212.
Azealia is that she's gonna fight everyone on the island. She's gonna get sent to Flop. She's gonna get there. She's gonna fight everyone on Flop.
And they get to Nope Island.
Yeah, Nope Island, where they're just like everyone has had tied of her. But Meghan is on. We should actually have our weekly rankings on that. Who is on Flop Island and who is on Bop Island?
Ooh, I like that. Yeah, we should do
So it's easy for me, Bop Island. Until she does something that moves her to Flop.
I think Meghan Thee Stallion and
Bop.
Serena Williams' husband, Bop Islands.
And Serena Williams, Bop
Serena
Island.
Williams always.
Nobody's going to tell me.
She's on the committee. She's like, you know.
And their daughter,
Pop,
Olympia, who is adorable.
Yeah, also
From
part of Bop
Island.
The whole family.
Yeah.
Bop Island.
Everyone's on Bop. Phineas,
Right,
you're on
but
Bop.
Will Smith playing King Richard? No.
King Richard is on Bop. Will Smith's on Flop. And then finally, we are at our Love Island rankings.
Talking of Flop Island.
Speaking of Flop Island.
Yep. So the news came out that Gemma and Luca from the most recent series of Love Island have announced that they're split up.
I would put Gemma on Bop Island and Luca on Flop Island.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, quite funny because a friend of ours went to the ITV Lollapalooza and she flagged that, Luca's by himself.
Oh, she didn't mention that to me.
Yeah, it was on Instagram.
Oh.
She took a video and was like, interesting, Luca's by himself. Hours later, Gemma announced the split. She was trending on Twitter.
So it was mutual.
Well,
I feel like that's what you always say when you break up with someone. Oh, it's mutual, but it's absolutely not mutual.
No, when people file for divorce, they say it's
conscious uncoupling.
That was Gwyneth. It was something circumstances.
Irreconcilable.
Like irreconcilable differences. So when you follow pop culture, irreconcilable differences become like the main line.
It's a blanket term. It's sort of like when you pass on someone's script and you say, "We're working on something similar." You're not. You just
don't like
it. Yeah.
So apparently, Luca also made a statement, but also kind of mentioned that he was blindsided, given the impression that he wasn't on the same page when it came to the split.
He said something like, I thought I would have a couple of hours to recover, but I guess not.
Oh.
I'd like to thank everyone who supported us. Honestly, I'm sorry. I don't think I've been in a long-term enough relationship that I would have to Instagram about our breakup. But who supports you in a long-term relationship?
No, I think the whole aspect with Gemma and Luca is that, of course, they were a finalist on Love Island and they did get far, even though everyone was concerned and everyone was waving that red flag over Luca because he was showing behaviours of being controlling. Not only, but the public... Jealous. The public noticed it, as well as people inside the house that were making mention to the fact that Luca was controlling. He didn't like when Gemma was, even playing games that, would have to make her like flirt or dance or grind on the other contestants. He didn't like it. He came off as a very controlling boyfriend.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I'm going to be honest. I think if I was on a game show and my partner was grinding on girls, I would also be uncomfortable. But I feel like if I met my partner through the game show, I got to suck it up. Yeah. I got to suck it up because it's a bit weird to have met you week 1, week 2, because they weren't even together initially.
No.
And then every time you have to do something based on the producers running the show, I'm giving you a hard time. Like, you decided you wanted to go. No. It's not like your partner went and was like, I want to put my pussy on these guys. They said, go up and get these guys' heart rates rising. And then you're going up to them afterwards and being like, you're a slag, I think.
Wow. It's a manipulation for me.
You never said that.
When it came to
allegedly.
Luca, allegedly. But when it came to manipulation with Luca, that's where the big red flags started to appear. And I think with Love Island and even the producers, they never really addressed it that much. It just let it play. They were the only couple that didn't become like boyfriend and girlfriend on the show. They were like, we're gonna wait until it, after the show.
Yeah, and they did a big to do about it, which is
massive.
Again, Flop Island energy.
Yeah. And then months later they broke up. No one took them massively serious. Another big red flag is that Luca looks exactly like Michael Owen, who is Gemma's dad. So it was just a bit odd. They're also from different walks of life.
Are you upset that Luca and Gemma have parted ways?
Couldn't care less. No, I mean,
Ouch,
it's probably honest because I didn't think that this relationship was going to last very long to begin with. And we all know with Love Island, over the course of the months after the show ends, these couples, one by one, will start to split and,
You're trapped on the show, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but Love Island really is a show about Stockholm Syndrome.
Wow.
I've been thinking about this recently because I've been thinking about like when you have a work crush, you are making a choice based on who's the hottest person in this very specific pool of people. Yeah. In the real world, there are hundreds and thousands of people.
They're probably on Flop Island, but you're relegating them to Bop Island.
Yeah, you're putting them on Bop Island because
they're the only ones there.
Yeah. And actually making a decision in that pool is always I think might be always potentially the bad decision to make.
Yeah.
Really, the test of time is when you go into the real world and you can see real ass people and you still feel like, this is my person.
Exactly. And I think
making the decision based on like, you're the best of this horrible bunch, that's not real.
Yeah. I think that's why...
And that ties into all the reality shows we've seen recently.
Oh, yes. We're going to talk about that. Well, we'll talk about one later on, but I think that's why there's been very, very few couples from Love Island that's actually made it. And yeah, for me, I'm not that surprised. Another couple that are broken up from the series, they weren't a finalist. I think they were 5th place, was Paige and Adam. Again, no one took that one seriously because it's Adam Collard, for goodness sake.
I'm going to be honest. If you didn't make it to the final, I honestly don't care about whether you made it.
But there was an interview with Paige and she did say and alluded to the fact that some of the couples were fake.
She also said that Adam had cheated on her.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, no one was surprised. No one was surprised because he's cheated on all his previous girlfriends.
He had a girlfriend before he came on the show.
Exactly.
So...
Yeah. I mean, of all the guys that would return to the show for a serious relationship, Adam Collard? Really?
Honestly, I thought he was 48 when he walked on the show. And you guys can go back and listen to our previous episodes where I said I thought he was 48. It was very bizarre to me that they brought him on, and I just think it's just really weird.
Yeah, but then she said that there was a couple of couples that were fake. Who do you think is doing more of a showmance versus a romance?
I think that Davide and Ekin-Su did not realise how much the public had really got behind them, and came out and were like, "Oh damn." But people really like Ekin-Su and Davide, specifically this combination.
Yeah.
The truth of the matter is, I think that the public would follow Ekin-Su over Davide.
Oh, 100%.
If they had to.
100%.
When ITV announced that they were doing a travel show between the two of them, I was like, oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
This is a perfect remit for these two people.
Yeah. Once the show wraps, they're going to be broken up.
A friend of ours has seen them at an event together. I think the two of them are smarter.
Than we make them.
Yeah, and then they will be like, it costs us nothing to present ourselves as a couple.
Yeah.
So let's do that.
Yeah.
And you're hot and I'm hot. So it's not like it's horrible to be on your arm. Let's be honest. I want to believe in Ekin-Su and Davide. But they, as I said in previous episodes, conduct themselves like a divorced couple. Yeah. Like, oh, my mum and dad aren't together anymore, but like when they're together, it's like fireworks. So I basically have to invite my mum to stuff, but not my dad. That kind of energy where they're two people who are not together anymore, but they fuck each other still.
Yeah.
That's the energy that they give me.
Yeah. Dami and India, I have hope for them too. The thing is, because of what we knew about Dami on the island, I just wasn't a massive fan of him.
I really enjoy Dami's internet presence. I actually feel like, weirdly, on the internet, Dami has more well, he actually quite a lot of personality on the show. But I really enjoy what I see of him on TikTok. Him and Ikenna, who I was like, I don't know anything about this guy. I don't care about him at all.
Dry as bread.
The two of them together, I'm like, oh, what a fun duo.
Yeah.
I like that.
And also I follow India, and she is, I think, probably the only Black Islander who has 1 million followers on Instagram.
If I was Dami's agent,
yeah,
I would get him a TV show ASAP. Him and Ikenna, I would get them a show where they co-host or they interview. I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of TikTok people have been on like red carpets. Yeah. I would get Dami and Ikenna on a red carpet.
They could be the new Chris and Kem.
Chris and Kem. I would get them like, have you seen the show Don't Hate the Players on? Yeah, I'd get them a show like that.
That'd be good, yeah.
Maybe not that specifically because it's a music show, and I actually think the host is perfect for it because it's that guy from Whistle Kicks.
Yeah. But really dry humour he has.
Yeah. I mean, seeing him on that show, I was like, I did not pay enough attention to Whistle Kicks.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know
they had one song in my head. Yeah, I have hope for Dami and India. They post loads. They've been on like podcasts together. Let's see.
Maybe they should host a fashion show.
Maybe.
You get Ikenna and you get Dami and you just get them commenting on fashion. In a way that's like, why are we listening to these two random dudes? But also, sometimes, like 50% of the time, their takes will be actually quite accurate.
Like Fashion Police.
Fashion Police, but it's just two dudes. But also almost exclusively comment, because I don't think we have a show that comments on men's fashion enough.
No.
Like, it's always like, what is she wearing? It's like, sorry, you dudes dress like shit as well. So drag them.
Is it just... But really, there's not much to say apart from, like, nice suit.
No, nice because cut. I actually feel like someone needs to gather the boys in terms of, like, boring black suit on the red carpet. Mix it up.
Do you know who's
That'll be me if I was on the show.
Who has really good interest in male fashion is Stormzy. Stormzy is really interesting.
Here we go.
Because
he wore a pink suit to the Wakanda Forever.
No,
red
I'm
carpet.
also a fan of Melissa's wardrobe. Who
I know you like Melissa's wardrobe.
Who is Stormzy's stylist? And I think she does a great job. Yeah. The other couple was Tasha and Andrew, who. Interesting, Andrew.
Do their little dance videos on TikTok.
Yeah, Andrew announced that he didn't want to be in the spotlight, and he's gonna create a YouTube channel about real estate, which I think is his background.
Yeah, and who's gonna watch that next?
So people who want to like buy a house.
Yeah, I'm not being funny, but it's not gonna be Andrew that tells you how you're gonna buy a house. Come on, let's be real.
But I have hope for them too. I think they're.
I think the two of them really like each other.
Yeah, I think they're gonna be like that couple that no one talks about, that they won in Love Island Winter. I think they're going to be like that couple who are like, oh, you remember when so-and-so won?
I think they're going to be like Molly May
and Tommy.
See, I can't remember that dude's name.
No.
Molly May and Tommy, and they're just going to announce in 4 years' time that they're pregnant, and we're going to be like, oh, they're so relevant. Yeah.
Maybe. But
apart from Tasha, who, as a deaf person, is relevant to me.
Yeah. And I think she's also got an avid fan base.
And as a dancer.
And she's an amazing dancer. And I think she's got a great brand. So
I really like Tasha. Yeah. Everyone was like, there was a period of time where I was like, get these two off the TV. Yeah. But as a person, I like her.
Yeah, I think also like with the whole like Luca being mean and also Dami as well.
The Luca stuff, that literally, if the Luca stuff had not happened, maybe I would have been like, okay, let's get them off the show. Where Luca was like almost fixated on dragging her, I was like, then I do like you because I don't like him.
Yeah, and he became the villain, and hence part of Flop Island.
So, enjoy Flop Island, Drake, Luca, and who is the third person?
Kanye.
Honestly, those three men, interchangeable.
And on the remember,
they're the same man in different races. Let's move on.
Okay, I think it's time for us to just go into the review of this week. I am so excited. Let's go.
So, our review this week is the final episodes of Love is Blind Series 3. Love is Blind has been a roller coaster.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? Let's just start with the couple that we had the most to say about.
Oh, 100%.
Nancy and Bartise.
Yes. So we talk about the predictions that we had, and then
yeah. So you go with the predictions. Oh, kids don't drink. The predictions for this episode. You go with the predictions. Yeah. I'll go with what happens.
Yes.
Then we'll do final thoughts.
I will say we're not going to give a review of what happened because
you need to have watched the episode, and if you haven't, Delete the podcast.
Don't delete us. But watch it. Watch it and then come back. But yeah, we're just going to go straight into it. So,
no,
Nancy and Bartise. For Nancy and Bartise, the prediction was that they were going to both say no. But the hope was...
that Nancy would say no.
Yeah, because I think the anticipation was that Nancy was going to be the first person to be asked whether she wanted to continue. But what actually happened?
Well, as you know, on this podcast, we were Team Nancy and not Team Bartise. We felt like Bartise had done enough things that Nancy could have a deep tea moment where she said, you've done enough bad things to me. The smart thing for me right now is not to marry you. However, when we got to the altar, they asked Bartise first, do you take Nancy? And he says, I do not. I think there's something about the phrase I do not as opposed to no's that's so much worse.
They asked Nancy first.
Did they?
Yeah, because she said no. I mean, so she said yes. She said yes.
So they asked Nancy first. Did they really?
They did.
They asked Nancy first. Wow. I completely forgot about that. She said yes, which... Okay, my comments on Nancy saying yes for us, which is, you're fucking stupid. I'm so sorry. What are you talking about? I'm so sorry. In the previous episodes, we said, the stuff that he'd done up until that point, I would have already been like, I'm not marrying you. For you to tell me that you want to fuck some other girl, tell me that she's your type and I'm not, tell me that you're no longer attracted to me, and in the midst of that conversation, be like, I have to go protect my boy, Matt. It's a wrap for me. She said, I love him. I'm going to the altar. I said, I'm going to be married to him. Why is your self-esteem so low? Why? Listen, I'm not going to sit here and say I think the most high. I've had low self-esteem before, but this would actually bring back my self-esteem. Not you telling me I'm ugly. When you're not hot. Bartise is a budget Drake. Bartise is Little Drake. He's not even Audi Drake, he's Little Drake. And you're sitting up here saying this is the man that you want to be with. You have to grow up. I'm sorry.
The thing with Bartise, aka Barstool, aka Bart Simpsons, aka all the names I've heard on the internet about this guy, is my guy thinks he's God's gift to women. He feels like he dropped down from heaven. He's out there.
Baking soda. Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? You're not hot. Did you see him on the reunion with his hair in a bun?
Yes. Do you know what? He went on TikTok and he was washing his hair to show that it wasn't a fake.
PSA. I don't usually back TikTok statements, but mixed race people with white mums and mixed race people with black mums, it's got to stop. Because the seesaw in this ranking is crazy. How can you be like, my boys told me that Nancy's not hot, then we see the boys? Butters, crotters, and even a new term that I've not even coined yet. That was the ranking of your mates. Butters, crotters, and mutters. That is how butters your friends was. And you're talking about Nancy. You only think you're hot because you only hang out with butters people. That's why you think you're hot. And you're talking mad shit to Nancy. You are, I'm sorry, ugly. You're not hot.
Man's not hot.
In the grand scheme of light-skinned people, you're not even ranking in the 5th
percentile.
The 50th percentile, you're not in it. And you're telling Nancy, I'm not attracted to you. And then Nancy gets up on the main stage and says, I do. You have to go to therapy. I'm sorry you have to go to therapy because this is crazy. He says, I do not. Then he says, do you want to have a chat about it? She says, oh, absolutely. This is the most British thing I've ever seen, first of all. I didn't know American people spoke to each other like this. Should we have a discussion? She says, yeah, let's have a discussion. They go outside. Nancy's brother is fuming. Nancy's mum is fuming. They come outside to be like, what the fuck is this? Because realistically, say what you will about Nancy's brother, say what you will about Nancy's mum. If that was my sister and some guy got up there and made her look like a fucking idiot, I'm dragging him. Yeah.
The thing...
By hand. Yeah. I'm not even talking about words. I'm getting up there, I'm grabbing him by that fucking top knot. I'm dragging him back into that hostel in front of his mum and his dad. His dad who's crying, first of all.
Oh, gosh. Of embarrassment.
I'm like, this is what you raised?
Of embarrassment.
This?
Yeah.
I'd be waggling that man's head around like it's a ragdoll.
Yeah.
Everyone would be embarrassed. My sister would be like, stop. I'd be like, I don't care. Put me in jail. You're not making my sister feel like that.
Remember in our previous episode, you said, I want someone to throw hands. Everyone's too safe.
Everyone's been too
nice. And I was like, this is the moment we've been waiting for. Someone's going to throw all the hands. The brother's going to do it.
My mum was hot. Everyone's telling him, calm down. No, get more hype.
And the thing is, why I felt for him, because he's like, I knew this.
He was this close to crying.
He was, because he was crying out of regret, because he's like, I knew the minute I met Bartise that this guy was not good for my sister. But because my sister loved him, because of this, maybe even the environment that they're in, he knew that he couldn't say anything to her to be like,
I had a conversation with my sister
this is not right.
Recently, right? This is real talk, girls.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with my sister recently. She called me in tears about a boy. I said, listen, you have bad taste in people. You are a bad judge of character. I didn't want to have to say that to her.
Yeah.
Because I want to build her up. I want to lift her up. But sometimes you need to be told the truth.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing. And that's what she needed to hear in that moment. You love this guy so much. Everyone. There is not one person watching this show thinking that that's what you deserve.
Yeah.
And nobody would watch this show and say, Bartise, Nancy, perfect for each other.
Yeah.
Everyone would say, Nancy, run.
Yeah.
Nancy, put on your trainers.
And get out.
Zoom out of this place.
And Nancy is like, Nancy has a good head on her shoulders. She's lived a
job.
A job.
Business.
She's
let a 25-year-old talk to you like that.
Yeah, she's experienced adversity. At the reunion, that's when she was like, oh, well, you're really showing your 25-year-old self.
And she had energy for Cole.
Oh, my goodness.
Have that energy for your ex-husband.
So much energy. And also...
Have that energy for your ex-fiancé.
The thing is...
She was scared of him. Let's be honest, she was scared of him. And I feel like a lot of the cast was scared of him. Because at the reunion, no one's chatting shit to him. They're talking about, but you was fucking some other girl 4 days later. He said, yeah, I was, and what?
Apparently...
I don't want to talk about it. And they went, okay.
The cast apparently said that they were giving him equal heat, but it wasn't part of the show. I don't think so, because in the show, Nancy says, "Oh, Bartise, I'm not trying to protect you, but
anymore. But I'm protecting you up until this point. Why?
Why? Oh, because at least you were brutally honest with me. What you said in front of the cameras, you said to me. That was when I was like, Nancy, please, you're in the sunken place.
You are
in the sunken place.
You're in the sunken place. You are absolutely in the sunken place. Too many people have made Nancy feel like she's not hot.
Yeah.
That she let this boy talk to her like that. Because Bartise, 50th percentile, I'm not even joking.
No.
Nancy, you could get anybody. You're cute. You're a little cute girl.
Yeah.
Big boobs. Big boobs!
Actually a booty.
And you let Bartise, a poodle, literally a poodle with a bobble on his head, come to you and tell you the fact that you have a business with your ex-husband and your ex-boyfriend, I don't like it. Do you have business?
No.
Do you have business?
The only time...
How do you pay your rent? How do you pay your rent?
The only time when Bartise...
Your mum and dad pay for it. And you're crying over him. I'm sorry, the girls in LA, the girls in Texas, collect yourselves. Come to London for a month. It'll teach you character. Because why am I crying over a 25-year-old? Are you mad? Are you mad? You weren't even in secondary school when I was in secondary school and I'm crying over you. Nah.
The only time when Bartise had a peak of interest was when Nancy was like, when I make 200k, you make 200k. He was like, oh yeah. I make that money. I make that money.
I make 200k.
The thing about Bartise is that he can talk. He has a mouth. He can talk. He knows how to answer a question. He knows
goes around the houses.
He goes around the houses. In his head, he's articulate. In our head, it's like a Kanye interview. The guy thinks that he knows everything, and he'd be like, "But the thing is, when I told you that I found Raven attractive, I found Raven attractive. But I want to tell you this, because you're my man. Yeah, you're my wife to be. But also, when he was talking to the brothers, I think appearance is important, but she's not my wife yet. The thing about Bartise, I think you have to be mindful of, and again, this is lessons that we will talk about in Date and Scribbles. You have to be mindful of the men that talk a smooth game, because deep down, what is the substance? Nothing.
Because Nancy had points on points on points when she went to this guy. Somehow he would do chatter, and then she'd be like, "I love Bartise."
Yeah.
There is no man. That's his specific problem I've never had, because there's no man who could talk better than I can talk to myself. That you're going to tell me a story and I'll be like, yeah, do you know what? That makes sense. That's when... the only time I've ever experienced this is when my friends are like, but then he said, oh, wait, huh?
No.
So he basically said to you, this is a you problem.
And
he said, yeah.
They turned around and gave you a hug. Mate, please, dig yourself out of that sunken place. Yeah. I beg of you. You
have to want more for yourself. As I said to my sister, as I say to every single one of my friends, you have to want more for yourself. And
going back to the point you said to your sister that she has bad taste. Nancy has bad taste because, mind you, her final two pick were Bartise and Andrew eye drops. Please, I beg of you.
And this is what I said to my sister about having bad taste. You're listening to the words, you're not paying attention to the actions. A person telling you that they love you and they think that you're great, but they won't touch you. They was having sex with you all the way up until here. You told them a real honest opinion of yours, which is, if I'm not ready to have a kid, I'm not going to have a kid. And all of a sudden they don't want to touch you. And you're like, well, we talked about it and we've resolved the issue. Is the issue resolved? Because his reason for divorce, for not marrying you, was that the issue was not resolved. So you have taken his words as Bible and not paid attention to his actions. When his actions tell you, men can lie, but they cannot do it in their actions, the lie. Yeah. So if you're going to take the word, you are going to be fooled. Yeah. You're absolutely going to be fooled.
And that's what I think that happened with Nancy. Because to this day, I still question, why did she say yes? She said yes out of the ambition. She said yes out of the opportunity, out of the potential.
She thought
Don't marry potential.
She thought this was going to be it. And what's crazy is the guy's not even it.
No.
If he said to you, yeah, I'll make 6 figures. I drive a Lamborghini. I live in a penthouse. Do you know what? Maybe I'd be like, let me suck it up.
Yeah.
Let me suck it up. Because I want to live a good life, honey. I want to live a good life. I'll take whatever I can take. This guy's 25. He lives at home. He's just got his accountancy. He's not even a senior accountant. He's entry-level accountant. And you're about to cry on TV over this guy. You've lost it.
I just have a whole...
You could not be me.
I have a whole...
could not be me.
Thing about the 25-year-old, but we'll talk about it at the end.
We'll come back to that. Yeah. We haven't even got to the main thing, for me, of marriage, which was... When they're outside, Nancy's mum and brother come up to be like, Nancy, don't cry. He's not ready for you. Which, honestly, best advice. Honestly, the best advice, because the mum's not putting Nancy down. She's not even necessarily putting him down. She said, you need a man who's ready for who you are now. Now. Not some guy who likes the idea of you but is not ready for you now. He's like, why are you guys coming over here? Mind your own fucking business. He didn't say that, but that was the energy. And Nancy was like, guys, can you go?
Oh my God.
I cannot tell you. I could be going through anything in my life. You could just hit me with a car. If I hear someone talking mad to my sister, go away. You're the problem. The way I would snap out of that coma. Snap out of that coma I'm in. The love coma I'm in and be like, watch your fucking mouth, bruv. Yeah. When I listen to this podcast sometimes, I'm like, I sound very South London. But watch your mouth if we're talking about my sister. Yeah. No one can chat shit to my sister. I can chat shit to my sister, you can't. Yeah. There's no one on this planet who's going to be like, your sister's the problem, yeah? We would have been happy, but
No.
You're the problem. No. You're actually the problem. You're actually the problem. Yeah. Because I was living good. Me and my sister was living good. Yeah. You come in now. Suddenly you got these problems. It's you.
I so wish that there was hands thrown.
I wish the brother slapped him up.
I so wish.
I actually wish the brother didn't punch him. I wish he slapped him. Because Bartise is the guy that you slap.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's the guy that you slap. He's not a guy that you fist. No. Backhand him.
I think one quick backhand he would back off.
Then his mum came out. Guys. Slap his mum as well.
No. I'm not condoning violence. On Scripts and Giggles, we do not condone
slap
violence.
The mum, slap Bartise. Slap the sister. She's not even here. Find her, slap her. The sister started it. The sister actually started it.
No, I think Bartise started
Crying?
It. Yeah, that one was extra, but Bartise, he reaped what he sowed.
I thought I was being thinking about the sister. I've listened to enough podcasts, enough other people's opinions. They also agree that her sister wants to fuck Bartise.
No, you see, we don't condone incest on this podcast.
No, we don't condone incest on this podcast. But if you're crying over your brother and his girlfriend, you need to examine something. Examine it.
I think there was a bit of backstory that we were not privy to with this particular episode.
And a bit of backstory we weren't privy to is the fact that her brother looks exactly like him.
Oh, and the partner as well.
That's what I said. Her boyfriend looks exactly like her brother.
It's a bit messy. Look, all I know is...
Don't join that family. No, Nancy, you dodge a bullet.
You dodge a bullet. And I think Nancy had to sit in that guilt and regret at the reunion when she found out that Bartise was with a blonde girl the quote-unquote traditional type that Bartise wanted. He was with a taller blonde on a yacht days after he said no to her.
Bartise.
And then my guy was like, oh, sorry, I don't want to talk about my sex life. I want to keep that private. You were on a show, for goodness sake.
I said in this life, if I'm going to be made a fool of, that person better be a 10 out of 10. Not me going on a reunion, hearing that you've been fucking some random tall blonde. They didn't even bring the tall blonde out. No picture of her, nothing. And it's you, Bartise. Hey!
Oh, gosh. Hey! Nancy, I'm wishing you all the best.
Nancy, you're a bad bitch. You have a fucking business.
Yeah.
Listen, in this life, they lie to you, tell you need to be coupled up. Find the person that's right for you. Yeah. And if you don't, marry your money.
Take it.
Stack the money up, stack it up and put it in a suit and marry that. Because it's no different to a man. All of them are stupid and useless.
Oh, God.
Marry your money because you're living good. How can you let someone... That's what I don't get about the show in general. A lot of these women are living good.
Yeah.
They come on the show and then they let men make them feel crazy. And that's what I didn't like about Bartise and Nancy. It's what I didn't like about Colleen and them. These are perfectly good women. Suddenly having these paranoia psychological experiments done on them where they're starting to feel like they're ugly or they don't deserve... They're not what... Come on.
Yeah.
This is not life.
Yeah.
Period.
All right, let's move on to another interesting couple, Colleen and Matt.
Colleen go run. That's what I gotta say about that one. I will say...
Are you okay, Colleen?
With the Colleen and Matt thing, I did not think they were going to say yes.
No. Our prediction, to jump in, was you said that it was going to be a no. With
from
Nancy,
I thought it was a no from Matt.
You thought it was going to be a no from Matt. I thought it was going to be a yes. And the only reason I said yes was because I was just trying to throw in some hope because there was going to be a lot of no's all round. But I did think they were going to be broken up by the reunion. And given their faces at the reunion, I wasn't too sure if I was right or not.
I'm going to be completely honest.
Go on.
I sped through their marriage. I sped through to the decisions.
Yeah.
And when she said yes, I said...
Huh?
I said, huh?
Yeah.
And then when he said yes, I said,
So I watched the full episode in the finale, and I would say that they really built that particular couple up because by this point we had seen most of the couples, and the scoreboard wasn't looking too positive. So they really built up this tension that it's probably going to be a no. And there's also this couple of reaction shots that they use in teasers, which I think were Colleen or Matt's parents, which made me think, okay, this is an absolute no. But I think people were still shocked that they did say yes. So I had the impression from the way they were talking, especially when Colleen was like trying, basically raising some of the red flags that Matt had shown throughout the series, such as walking away during arguments, especially when drunk.
Constantly threatening to leave
the threatening to leave, the manipulative angle in terms of trying to force her to say yes, especially at that date at the aquarium, the final date they had in the aquarium.
Unpleasant.
It was unpleasant, it was manipulative, it was worrying, and he wasn't that drunk. He wasn't. I don't even know if he was drinking. That's the worrying.
It felt very like dead sober. Are you gonna marry me? Yes or no? And she was like, well, we have real problems. Are you gonna marry me? Yes or no? I'm just saying we have real issues. Are you gonna marry me? Yes or no? Like, no attempt to address the problems. Just like, are you going to make me look like a dickhead at the altar, yes or no? And I think in that moment, she was like, I don't want to make you look like a dickhead at the altar.
Yeah. So, when they said yes, I was surprised, even though I had said yes, that it would happen.
I called 911.
Yeah.
I said, I'd like to report a kidnap. No,
and they looked very happy, and they kept on calling each other husband and wife at the wedding. Again, I was like, let's see what happens. Is this going to be just a thing where they love the idea of it? They're in the white gown, they're in the suit, they've got the family, they're looking. I mean, is this what it's going to be? Are they going to be broken at the reunion? But I think we should talk more about the reunion because I think that's the most important thing.
The reunion was very weird.
Yes.
Colleen looked very scared for the whole thing. And I've seen people speculating online that the reason why she felt scared is because she knew that video about her and Cole was going to come up and she was going to have to address it. Yeah. And that she was more worried about basically the way the show had depicted her than she was about her relationship. However, watching the reunion, my gut instinct was like, there is something very off about this couple.
Yeah.
And it felt like every time they cut to them to be like, how's life going? It was Matt answering and Colleen being like, nodding and smiling, but her eyes saying, please help me, please help me.
She kept on looking down. I watched the reunion twice, or part of the reunion again, just to see if I had got it wrong. Because, you know, allegedly, we're not saying it's the case, but she looked like she was being a victim of some form of abuse. I'm not going to put any type of label to it. It just looks slightly concerning. She was looking down a lot. She looked a bit uncomfortable, a bit agitated. Even though she was very much snuggled up to Matt, and he had his hand on her and she had her hand on him, it just felt like she just didn't want to be there, which I think I understand, because out of all the couples in the show and out of all the characters, she had a lot of screen time, especially at the beginning when people were kind of like teasing her about the whole ballerina thing, all the way to the Cole incident and to the picture with Matt. So it's understandable that she may have been a bit self-conscious about it, but it just also looks a bit more beyond that, a bit more concerning beyond that particular aspect of the show. Yeah,
watching them on the reunion, I did not think this is paradise. I felt, we need to somebody. I felt almost like if I was the producer and I saw that behaviour from Colleen, I would take her to one side and be like, "Are you okay?" That being said, she's been posting TikToks, as has a lot of the cast recently this week, and she posted one that said, a year since I married the love of my life. And there's a bunch of videos of her and Matt, and they genuinely look quite sweet. I think the issue for me is, it's really funny because the comments were like, did Matt make you post this? Which is quite funny, and like, blink if you need help, girl. Yeah. And I think this is a wider issue about shows like Married at First Sight and Love is Blind, which is like, we see a version of these people on the show, and we make assumptions based on the version of them we see. And obviously for them, it's like, you don't get to see the stuff that doesn't make it to edit, and the stuff that is not even filmed. And they've been together now, God knows how long. But if they filmed this around the time that the second season was filming, they've been together for almost a year. Yeah. And in a year, a lot of things can change. Yeah. Like, maybe Matt was like, you're right, I do have a lot of fucking trust issues. Yeah. I'm going to go to therapy. Maybe Colleen was like, I need to become more vulnerable. I need to become more, I need to feel braver in addressing how I feel and what I need out of life. That their relationship is now functioning perfectly well. But I also feel like the problem with these shows is that, like, the reason why we like them so much is that we feel like we can make assumptions about them. Yeah. And when people are like, no, we're actually fine, it's like, you're ruining the show. Yeah. Because everyone wants drama. We like to be able to be like, based on what I saw at the reunion, or based on what I've seen in the TikToks. And when you go, these aren't real, TikToks aren't real, the reunion isn't real, you kind of fuck with the format of the show. And so I genuinely, I want the best for Colleen. I don't want her to be in a relationship that is abusive or coercive or anything like that. I mean, sure, same for Matt. I don't really care about Matt. I do care about Colleen in this situation because I feel like a lot of women find themselves in situations like this and it's not fair. So if it is, like, this relationship is coercive, I want her to be free of it. If it's not and it's genuinely fulfilling, hats off to her. Yeah. Maybe, genuinely, work has been done from the end of that series to now, where she's like, I'm more than happy to be in this relationship. I don't know how likely that is because I don't produce the show, but there's something about what we saw, at least in the show, that makes me feel like she should run. Yeah, I mean, her facial expressions alone is a point of concern. The incidents that happened during the show was also a point of concern. I do agree with your point that, of course, the relationship could have developed and has most likely developed in the year and almost a year and a half since it filmed, but we don't know.
Is it because they discussed it on the show, but it kind of ended up on the cutting room floor when they were editing the reunion, or was the host not asking those questions? Because I have also additional comments about those hosts, but we'll go on to it at the end. I think with Matt and Colleen, there's two things. Firstly, talking on social media, check out Matt's Instagram.
Followers.
Who's he following? Because that's interesting. Let's just say he's
a lot of problematic Republicans.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, that's a side note. The other point I have about the couple, which, one, I definitely understand that they were in this expedited process where they got together and, got engaged and then got married. And this was done over the space of, 5-6 weeks? Mm-hmm. But since a year and a half has passed, they're not living together. Which, again, if this was a normal relationship outside of the pods, in real life, and they met up, we're not going to expect them to live together. They'll be dating. And maybe what they're doing right now is dating. They're just dating each other to get to know each other. However, when that question came up about them living together, which will be a significant part of their relationship when they eventually do so, I felt there was a lot of conversation and covering about why they weren't living together. Trying to line up with leases. Colleen didn't want to mess up, the deal with her roommate. So, she's living where she is, he's living where he is, and the next couple of months they're going to live together. Do I think that's going to happen? I'll be honest, no. Again, we're going back to the assumption that we're seeing from everything. But I still think it's quite concerning, and maybe that's a nice bandage on the relationship that they're not living together right now. But if they do, it may expose more things about Matt and Colleen. It's really hard with these type of couples because I definitely think that Matt is very much problematic.
Yeah, same.
But that being said, when I watched The Ultimatum, there was a couple very similar where the man was quite problematic.
Yeah.
They are still together. They had a child.
Baby.
Yeah. They got engaged, and then he was like, let's get married now. And then an officiant came and they got married. But they're still together. So maybe we're just...
That was a great example of, sometimes messy people attract messy people.
Yeah, exactly.
And, you can try and save someone as much as you want. Sometimes they like their messy ass ex, actually. Yeah.
So we'll have to just wait and see with this couple. I know I predicted they won't be together by the reunion. I'm probably going to now push my prediction to they won't be together after the final, after the Altar special. Because I just still think that something isn't right.
Something isn't right.
But... Maybe Matt has changed. Maybe Matt has grown up.
He needs to go to therapy because he has a lot of
but
trauma
the anger issues and
based on the way that his previous relationship ended.
Yeah, because I don't know if Colleen feels fearful if she has to go out or go and see the girls and she's out at 3 a.m. and he's like, my wife's supposed to be here.
What's she doing going out at 3 a.m. on a Wednesday or whatever? No, yeah. It was a Tuesday.
She has to be with her boy. Come on. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see with this couple, but I hope Colleen is well.
Yeah, I just want Colleen to be safe.
Yeah.
She wasn't my favourite on the show by any stretch of the imagination, but I don't want to, quite like Maps, watch someone be in a relationship with someone who is turns out they're a criminal.
And also, maybe she just seemed broken. From when she first started on the show in episode 1, and she was bubbly and I'm a ballerina, and she just seemed so optimistic. Of course, a year has gone by.
Yeah.
But seeing her on the reunion, she just looks so in her shell. And again, maybe it's because she's now in front of the cameras after over a year, because of course they got married a year and a half ago, but they didn't do the reunion until much closer to the time where the show was actually airing. So it's been a different adjustment to be in front of the cameras again, and then they're gonna probably have to do that however long later to do the after Altar special. So maybe she's just not uncomfortable in front of the camera anymore, but she seems to be loving her TikToks. So
yeah, honestly, wish her the best.
So our next couple is Alexa and Brennon. So our predictions were that, I think you said that it was gonna be a no, Alexa, and I said they will say yes. I think this couple, like the Lauren and Camerons of the world, and at that time, who was the one from series 2? The black couple?
Ayana
and Jared.
Yeah.
They seem like a pretty much unproblematic couple in terms of...
They've got quite smug. and how unproblematic they are.
100%. Like, they were very easy breezy, no many major conflicts throughout the show. They seemed to be on the same page. Brennan was very amenable to any of Alexa's requests. So when it came to the wedding, and also, that he also already started those discussions around converting to Judaism. So he was very much, intentional about being part of Alexa's family, of Alexa's world. It was very clear that whatever differences they may have, they will easily be able to resolve, and it wasn't a big deal. So I wasn't surprised that they made it to the altar and they both said yes. I was very happy to see it. We needed a win.
Yeah.
We actually did. Because I think that's where the sweet spot of this show comes to. Like,
you feel like two people have genuinely found each other.
Yeah. And actually, that was one point that was raised. I think I've heard it from someone on TikTok where they said, where is the next Lauren and Cameron? Because I do love Lauren and Cameron from series 1. And with each series of Love is Blind, I'm now starting to ask, are we going to get that couple again? And I think Alexa...
I personally don't think we will, but I respect that Alexa and Brennon are close.
They're close because they were...
For now?
Yeah, for now, yeah. They're unproblematic in the sense that as soon as they chose each other, they did not come up the pods comparing the other couple, or comparing themselves, and also looking at the other couples and thinking about what could have been, because that's where the issues and nails on the coffins have been for all the other couples in a sense. They never engaged in any of those conversations. They very much were zoned in to their relationship and how they can build a marriage and a life together, which again is very reminiscent of series 1 with Cameron and Lauren, when they were talking about the house they were going to build and all those type of things, the future planning basically. So no surprise that they said yes. The reunion comes, and I think like you said, very smug, to the point where it was like almost too much. I'm on my high horse, on my high table, looking down on you peasants who got divorced. Alexa has always been a bit quote unquote maybe mouthy. She allowed herself to raise her own opinions about things.
She's always been quite haughty. Yeah. And the thing with Alexa, and the reason why I felt like they might not make it, is that she really leans into the fact that she was raised with money. Belongs to maybe a certain stratosphere of the population because she was raised with money. And that Brennon doesn't belong to that stratosphere. And I felt like at the reunion there was a little bit of a we're in a different stratosphere to the rest of you, and we made it to the end liking each other because we genuinely liked each other when we got together in the pods, and maybe the rest of you got together for the show or got together for the idea or the promise or the potential, and that's why your things have flopped. And they had a bit of that energy previously actually as well, when she was like, I'm not saying that this is a race or a game, but if it was, me and Brennan would be at the top. And that really struck me in that moment because I was like, she is a competitive person. And she's luckily found herself in a situation where she doesn't need to be particularly competitive. Everybody else is so bad. Yeah. But equally, it is a bit weird to look at this situation as a competition because the whole point of it is you meet the person who is for you. And if you don't, you go home. So where's the competition part? Because if you've met someone who's for you and I haven't met someone who's for me, that doesn't change the fact that I'm with someone who's not for me, right? Or if I've met someone I think they're for me and I see you're with someone who's even more for you, does that suddenly mean that I'm going to turn around to my person and be like, we failed? Yeah. You're all of you in your own bubbles, essentially. There's something about Alexa and Brennan being like, I wouldn't do that to my girl. I respect women, blah, blah, blah. It's but let's not forget that you had to come on this show to find a partner. So if you was that hot and if you was that about it, you would have had a girlfriend, wife, fiance before you came on the show. So why don't you pipe down and let the other people have the drama that they need to have?
100%.
And then you go home and you go, wasn't that wild? Yeah. I don't know why you're on stage being like, me personally, I would never talk to a woman like that. Okay. But no one else is dating you. I also thought it was really interesting that they didn't mention the fact that Colleen and him dated for a bit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. That was completely eliminated and removed from history. The thing that annoyed me the most in that reunion, there was a lot of things that annoyed me, but with this particular couple was Brennan. He opened his mouth too many times, talking, chatting.
It's just all
comments,
of a sudden,
interjecting.
when we've not seen him be like that before.
No, like really getting at Cole, which we'll talk about Cole later. But I just felt like when it came to Brennon, the priority is just your relationship. And it doesn't help that the host will turn to them and be like, well, you've seen this issue that's happening with this other couple. What do you guys feel?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you can see that Colleen and Matt are not living together. How do you guys feel about it? Like,
it's got literally nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
This is what I was saying before about in maths. Remember when I was like, why are other couples bothered about you partner swapping or you being with someone else? If you're good in your thing, why are you fussed about what I'm doing? And it only works if you're in a show, because there probably are producers are prodding you to be like, well, what do you think of X? Yeah. I don't think it's fair. What do you think? I think you should go on camera and say it's not fair. Like, it's, I don't know, you should have a bit of self-awareness when you're on a TV show, but maybe they purposely choose people who wouldn't have self-awareness that they were on a TV show.
Yeah. Anyway, let's just move on. I mean, again,
all the best for them.
Congrats to Alexa and Brennon. Yeah. They won their competition, but they also won in love.
We weren't the only people that got married, so did they win?
Well, they won and they're living together, and you know, and even though they face some hardship while living together, they are
together.
Probably more further along than Matt and Colleen.
They're together.
Yeah. Next, we are going to talk about Cole and Zeynab.
Where to start with Cole and Zeynab?
Oh my goodness.
So just before, I feel like the first episode of that final half of the series is Cole basically saying to Zeynab, I think you've got bipolar disorder, because you're saying one thing 1 minute and another thing the next. First of all, and this is what I said to a friend when we were discussing Cole and Zeynab, I don't think that Zeynab or Cole are bad people. I think in Cole's case, he's deeply immature and says things because he's a child that he doesn't know that he shouldn't say. And I was saying to a friend, I'm sorry, I don't believe that you're 25 and you don't understand that you shouldn't accuse people of having a mental illness that they don't have. If I was taking someone and I was like, I don't know, I don't like it when you don't put the toaster away after you use the toaster and there's crumbs everywhere. And they said, are you depressed? You seem like a person who has depression. I would kick them out of my house immediately. Because honestly, I personally have been in a situation where I shared a thing about myself, which wasn't even that bad a diagnosis, but a thing about myself that affected my mood. And a colleague of mine said, months later, when I was in a low mood, maybe you need to go outside and go for a walk, because your vitamin D levels must be low because you have an attitude in work. And I said, excuse me? Because I'd forgotten, I'd told her that I'd gone to the doctors because I was so fatty. This was like many, many winters ago before coronavirus. And I was exhausted every day. I'd gone to the doctors and I was like, I just feel like this isn't normal. And they said, you don't have enough vitamin D. Like, you're a person of colour. You're not supposed to have these winter periods in the UK. You need the sun. So you need to take supplements. And I was like, oh, okay. Took the supplements, started to feel better. Told a colleague about this because I was like, isn't it crazy? Like, something you just don't think about as a person of colour. That, like, you are meant to be in the sun. You're actually supposed to be in the sun. And when you're not in the sun, your body's like, I'm melting. And you're like, no, this is just where we live. And so I'm going through seasonal depression, or like feeling completely like depressed, when really I just need to be in the sun for an hour every day. Anyway, told a colleague about this. Months later, she did something to me. I was like, oh, this bitch is getting on my nerves. In my head. And she said, maybe you need to go for a walk.
I'm actually done.
Maybe you need to go for a walk. I was like, what? She's like, maybe you need to go for a walk. Do you know your vitamin D levels might be low? And I said, wow. This is why people don't share stuff about themselves with people. Because you're going to use it against them. And so that moment where Cole and Zeynab are having a conversation, it's like, I think you're not bipolar. It's like, it's just fucking shit to call someone mentally ill when they're experiencing something.
We're also in a world where people think they know stuff about therapy.
Yes.
I mean, there's another show that I watch. I know we haven't reviewed it. It's called Bachelor in Paradise. And a similar premise happened where the guy and the girl are arguing, and all of a sudden my guy turns to her and say, "Oh, you're gaslighting me. Oh, I can tell you're experiencing trauma." And he was saying a lot of therapeutic
pop psychology
buzzwords that he probably learnt from a few days or 3 sessions in therapy himself.
Learnt from a TikTok.
Exactly. And I was just like, where is this guy? Or how does this guy have the audacity to try and throw therapy into her face to deflect the issues that they have in the relationship and some of the issues that he also has himself? So when I saw that with Cole and Zeynab, I was like, one, the fact that you're calling her bipolar, when I don't even think you even know how to spell bipolar,
that's
it's
also
a
not
joke.
small. Like, it's one thing to say, "Oh, you're depressed." What there are types of mental illness that's, entry level. Yeah. That's not the right word, but entry level mental illness. To call me bipolar, to me, that still feels serious. Yeah. I still feel like we live in a time where being bipolar is a serious thing. Yeah. And because I didn't agree with you on something, I'm bipolar. Yeah. Okay, got it. So anyway, that is one of the last conversations they have before they get to the point where they're like, "Are you going to say yes or no?" Yeah. And Cole, apparently, after accusing his fiance, of being bipolar, is like, "We're going to get married and ride off into the sunset." This was another person, much like Nancy, where I was like, wake up. Yeah. Get up. Do not marry this man who you've said has made you feel literally a centimetre big. Based on the way that he talks about your body, talks about your appearance, talks about your beauty, all of this stuff. He's not the guy for you. So they get to the altar and they go, "Will you take blah, 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 will you take Cole Brennon Barnett?"
I'm finished.
I want you guys to think about the fact that his name is Cole Barnett.
And we were joking that Cole is the epitome of Barnett and Amber's son. He literally could be.
Cole Brennon Barnett. To be Zeynab's husband. Zeynab, you take him to be your husband. And Zeynab said, "You are a very sweet guy. And I'm sure you'll make a woman happy one day. But that woman's not me." Does a whole speech about how he made her feel 10 centimetres tall. Her self-esteem was shot. And she's going to focus on herself. She walks out of the chapel. Her side of the chapel, then all
applaud.
And then after applauding, every single one of them gets up and leaves the church. So if you're Cole, and I believe him that he thought he was going to marry this girl. Yeah. Because I believe him when he presents himself as a person who's never had anyone say no to him.
Oh, yeah.
That he really was like, "Me and her are going to get married." And when she said, "I actually think you're scum, no offence," and left, and then all of our family members clapped and left, he was completely blindsided. He didn't expect that at all. I believe that about him. It's a weird moment. Afterwards, they have the reunion. Zeynab looks incredible. I think she looks really good.
Orange suits her.
Cole looks a fucking mess. Unshaved, unkempt, just looking like he's been dragged in a sewer before he came to the reunion. Yeah. Gets to reunion now. Zeynab's like, basically, "You made me feel like shit the whole time we were dating." Cole's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I loved you and I gave you my whole life." He starts crying his eyes out. Everyone's like, "Cole, nobody hates you, Cole." I'm going to say something and it might be controversial, it might be wrong.
Go on.
Men crying is a ploy.
Okay.
80% of the time.
Okay, yeah, I think we should give that benefit of the doubt.
80% of the time. 20%. I do believe that at some point he was crying because he was like, "I really just didn't expect you not to marry me." And I truly believe that it did mess him up. Because he's lived in a world for a really long time where girls say yes to him. Yeah. People don't say no to him. Yeah. However, I don't know how you look at the amount of times that you said to camera, "I don't think she likes me. I don't think I like her. she's not my type. And you thought, we're going to get married and have a kid. Who wants to have a kid with a man who has publicly said, I'd rather fuck someone else?
It's the delusion. The delusion.
I'd love to hear from his ex-wife.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued.
I would love to hear from his ex-wife because he's living in a dream world where he's never done anything wrong in his life ever. And Zeynab being like, you've done some things wrong. He's like, no, but I've never... I'm not trying to hear it. Me personally, even if it was true, on that show, I would have kicked her off.
Yeah. Do you know what?
If I was Zeynab, I'd be like, first of all, keep your tears in your eyes where they belong. The whole time we were together, you weren't crying. Now today you want to cry. Because I didn't marry you. Why would I marry you?
Yeah.
He got on there and said, I've never done anything wrong to this girl. Yeah. That's what he said.
Yeah.
This story where she said I cheated on her, I don't remember. I don't know what she's talking about. She's fucking crazy. Everyone on the show had to be like, you can't call her crazy.
Yeah.
He's like, okay, she's fucking insane.
Like, you can't use the word insane either. And this, my guy's running through every single
he couldn't think of another word. We get to the cuties incident.
Oh, I think before we go there, I do have some points about Cole.
No, but I'm saying, we then get to the cuties incident.
Yeah.
And realistically, it vindicates him.
Slightly.
But there are lots of other instances where what Zeynab said about him destroying her self-esteem is absolutely true.
Yeah.
And there are definitely instances where he talks about her body specifically. Yeah. And all of us went, oh, but she lied about the cuties incident. Yeah. It's like, she's a fucking villain. But I have a comment to say about the way that we view women on these shows in general.
So going back to Cole, before we go into the cuties point. Firstly, Cole and Zeynab gives me very much Shane and Natalie from series 2. Perfect. Because, one, I think maybe less so on the attractive part, but I'm thinking about in the finale when the day before they were due to say I do, Natalie and Shane have a humongous fight. Oh, that's how Natalie described it. Mm-hmm. Seismic change where she couldn't look at Shane the exact same way. And as a result, when she's at the altar, she says no. She probably doesn't do the same dramatics as Zeynab in terms of basically not ripping him to shreds. Mm-hmm. But she makes it very clear that the way that he speaks to her, it has been demeaning to her. Maybe not at just that point in the relationship towards the end, but at other parts as well. Mm-hmm. And that was the reason for her saying no. So it was giving me those feelings. But then flash forward to the reunion and you see Cole disheveled, rough. And again, it threw back to Shane, who looks very much disheveled, rough. Like this guy, both guys have been broken down. And I sat there when I watched it and thought, wow, is this show just breaking white men left, right and centre? Because it seems like for the past 2 seasons there have been one man from each of the couples who have been completely broken through this experiment.
I personally think that is just a coping mechanism from specifically white men. The reason why the men of colour don't attempt that thing of being like, I'm going to come in here and cry, look really sad. It's a white man thing,
no, sorry. You can't. And both of them, in a similar situation, was surprised when the partner, in this case, Zeynab for this series, said no. He was surprised that Zeynab said no, even though, like you said, the whole series, my guy would tell anyone that he was not attracted to her. He even told Zeynab, like, oh, you know, I knew you were Zeynab when I spoke to the pods, when I heard your name. I knew you weren't going to be Jane, Becky, or Lily, or any of the other typical, let's be honest, white girls that he pretty much dated in the past. But I think the minute he said that he liked Colleen, or Colleen was up there, and he praised and heralded her look, her type, that was the end for Zeynab. And she knew that, like, that is the end because you are now comparing me. We'll go back into this point. But all I'm going to say is that there was definitely this breakdown in his appearance, which could have been used as, like you said, a ploy for sympathy. But even though the cast were not there for it. And the cast reactions, again, is interesting because Zeynab had said, and she, you know, a lot of them have flagged that Cole had done a number of things off camera that Netflix was quote unquote protecting him. We will go into the cuties incident. But also, even after they've seen the whole show, they're not taking back what they thought about Cole. So, it's very, very interesting to see a character like Cole, who started off incredibly immature. And in my head, I feel like he was put in there by production for comedic effects. Like the Sheikh of Series 2, who was not serious, who was asking people about their figures, asking them what they liked, discounting women very quickly. He was there for entertainment. And stupidly, he found someone. And he just wasn't built for this type of experiment at all. And it was very apparent. Even your parents weren't even in support of it. However much, you were bringing God and faith and Christianity into it, they weren't in support of it. And he was using it to be like, well, is this what Christian parents should be doing? Or is this what Christians should be doing? That's another discussion for another day. But I do think Cole was not ready. He was immature at the beginning. And even at the end, the way that he demonstrated his behaviour towards the end still signals his immaturity.
Yeah. I think there was one more moment in the reunion where they discussed this idea that, like, Cole had cheated on Zeynab. And I honestly just feel like it was very messy the way it was presented and not verified in any way. But essentially, at the bachelor party, Zeynab says the next day, Cole came to her and said that he'd kissed a woman at a bar.
Yeah.
At the reunion, Cole says he never said that. He says they were at a rodeo. He doesn't know what she's talking about. All the boys are dead silent, though. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you knew I'd never done nothing, you would have said something.
Yeah. Come on, Brennon. You've been chatty-patty the whole episode. I expect him to speak
Brennon
up.
says, I was so drunk that night that I don't remember where we went. Which is not him saying, I'm backing Cole, but it was also him not saying, I'm not backing Cole.
Yeah.
There was a TikTok recently where Alexa was answering questions about her season, and somebody said something about, did the boys go out after that rodeo, or whatever the fuck? And Brennan says, we went to multiple bars. Not only did we go to multiple bars, some of the cast and crew came with us.
Yeah.
And that is why that's not being brought to light, because there would be not just audio, but footage of, again, it wouldn't be Netflix employees, it would be whatever the production company's employees are out with us. Somebody somewhere knows whether or not Cole kissed or got some girl's number or not. But what Zeynab is saying is he came to her the night of their wedding, the morning of their wedding, to say, by the way, was chatting to some girls.
Yeah.
But then was still confused that she said no at the altar. There's a lot of their story that doesn't make sense. So anyway, Zeynab makes a reference in the reunion about how she basically had an eating disorder towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
And Cole knew about the eating disorder and was low-key encouraging her not to eat. Netflix said, enough was enough. We're going to show this thing that you're apparently claiming that we co-signed someone abusing you. And the scene is Zeynab and Cole. Zeynab is eating cherries, talking about what their second marriage would look like, because her British family cannot fly over in time for this wedding. So it's just going to be her, Cole's friends and her friends in the auditorium. He's like, oh, when we get married, we can go to Iran. Your family's from Iran, right? You're Iranian? She's not. Oh, she's like, most of my family's in the UK. Okay, cool. So we fly to the UK. This guy has basically no clue about this one, but bear in mind they're about to get married.
Yeah.
So I was already like, this doesn't make sense to me. Then they have an interaction where she then goes and gets a tangerine / I guess Americans call them cuties.
Yeah.
She gets a tangerine and she has 2 little sections. There's a word for it, I can't remember.
Segments.
Yeah.
Segments, yeah.
And he goes, oh, are you going to eat this whole thing? And she's like, yeah, I mean, I haven't eaten anything all day. He's like, well, we're going to have a dinner later, so you need to save your appetito. That's how he says it.
Yeah.
Very, very much like, oh, my dumb white boyfriend has a pronunciation for everything. She says, I'm not eating. He says, why not? She says, if I told you, you wouldn't like it. He asks her, is it because of you trying to get skinny for your wedding dress? And she says, no, right? Anyway, that whole situation ends. She's had some cuties. He's had some cuties and a couple of her cherries. Everyone's like, this is proof that Zeynab is a liar. And that Zeynab is a control freak, blah, blah, whatever. When the truth of the matter is, for me, not as black and white as everyone keeps trying to paint it. I think the reason why I found this whole situation really interesting is about the way in which we consume reality TV. And there's something about going, based on the evidence I've seen, you are a bad person. Which is like, that is actually quite a big thing to exclaim about someone. And when you talk about the evidence you've seen, it's the show. And the show is deliberately trying to sell you a version of each of those characters. So in watching it and going, Cole's a bad guy, that's not completely accurate because that's what the show wants you to think. In watching that scene and going, Zeynab's a bad guy, it's not completely accurate because that's what the show wants you to think. Your thinking at the end has to be, who are these people and why would they make the decisions that they made? And in Zeynab's case, she doesn't talk about it, but it strikes me the way she responds to him talking about her body, that this is not the first time someone's talked about her body in a negative way, that she has taken that on board this time and is seeing it as, you are actively trying to make me feel bad about my body. Whereas for Cole, it's just like, here are comments about your body. I live in a world where people make comments about things and it's not serious and it's not personal. And that, for that reason, they would never have been a good match. To make it down the aisle, I was genuinely confused. Where she says, you're the one who I feel like out of the two of you is constantly going on about how much you love him. And yet you didn't want to marry him. Okay, cool.
No.
At the end of the day, I was fine because I got home quicker that day. But I feel like the very boring black and white interpretations of who Cole is and who Zeynab is boring. The fact of the matter is, both of these people are people who make decisions based on the situation they're in, and potentially those were not the decisions that they should have made, but here they are.
Yeah. For me, it is the immaturity of Cole meets the insecurity of Zeynab, and then that is where you get a dumpster fire, honestly, because Cole should not have been in this type of relationship.
No.
Zeynab knew, I'm telling you, she saw red flags with Cole. Like, I never understood the appeal of, like, why they wanted to be together, apart from, like, she wanted someone to be to get engaged to from the pods. But she knew he was quite young. She really kind of had that concern. And I think we just saw the whole development of it. And I think I said it in our previous recording that Zeynab's behaviour, especially when it came to Cole, and some of it, I do think she was hypercritical with him at some points. Like the example when he was trying to cook for her and then she was just there, like, literally every single thing. She was like, why can't you do that?
Looming over his shoulder.
It just shows the level of control that she had, or that she wants in a relationship. And I just don't think, again, she's not ready to be with a guy.
That to me only worked because he was younger than her and a little bit immature. Because it was a bit of a bizarre conversation, because of bizarre time to bring food for them to meet. My 2 cents on the cutie situation on Cole and Zeynab is, Zeynab has insecurity she has to work through.
Yeah.
Cole has immaturity he has to work through. Yeah. And my sister was like, do you not believe there's like that sometimes timing is everything, and that like maybe if you met that person again in a period of your life where they've done all the work that they need to do and you've done all the work that you need to do, you could be something. And this is an example where I just simply feel like Zeynab and Cole should not even be living on the same street as each other.
No.
They're very different people. They want very different things. And as a result, I don't believe that the two of them end up together. But
I don't even see them as friends.
No.
And even before the cuties incident.
None.
No.
Wish them all the best, but...
Yeah, there's a few things I want to flag on, like, the Zeynab thing. Firstly, there was a lot of chat about, like, Zeynab wanted to have a moment when she declined the wedding or the marriage to Cole. And actually, as we discussed in the previous episode, Series 3 and Series 2 are pretty much filmed concurrently. So there is very, very limited chance that Zeynab would have seen the outcome of Dipty's wedding at the time when she was going to get married to, or, you know, at the time when she was planning her decision to Cole. So I really, like, I don't think that we should be penalising Zeynab for that. The second thing was, on that point, of course, then I would have seen the reunion after the Series 2 reunion by this point that they had the Series 3 reunion. So I think she knew exactly what point she wanted to come across in the show. Mm-hmm. She knew how she wanted to position herself, and also position herself as probably the victim versus the quote-unquote villain with Cole. There was definitely an us versus them mentality when it came to Cole. So whether that is because Zeynab had spoken to the other cast members about the issues that she experienced, she's very close with the other girls from the show. So you can tell that they had a lot of support, a lot of maybe blind support, no pun intended, for Zeynab. But I just also feel like when it comes to how she deals with relationships, Zeynab needs to really think hard about what she wants in a guy, what she wants in a relationship, and also what is the right age or stage in life that she should be like pursuing. Because I wish, especially the older women, I wish she'd just be like, you know what, I went to pods, there was no one there for me, I'm gonna go home, you know. But yeah, again, wishing all the best for Zeynab and Cole and this crazy saga.
Last couple, SK and Raven. Were you shocked about the way that SK and Raven marriage went?
Yes, because actually we had very different predictions for Raven and SK. I thought that Raven was going to say no and SK was going to say yes. And you thought that SK was going to say no.
Yes, I did.
And actually, you were right with the predictions.
Yeah.
Which, could you take us back to why you thought that was the case?
I thought it all came down to the Masters, whatever he was doing.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was like, I'm not entertaining the idea of coming with you.
Yeah.
I'm entertaining solely the idea that you're going to come and pay my rent.
Yeah.
While you're a student somewhere else. That I thought would be an issue. I felt, even when they started talking about it, you could tell there was something in his face that was just like, oh no, actually. Yeah. That made me think that, like, that is a problem for him. And honestly, if we're being completely honest, that'd be a problem for me.
Yeah.
If I said I would be in a relationship with you as a guy, but I'm going to be studying Cambridge, right? So away from London.
Yeah.
And you said, good luck. I'm not leaving, and I expect you to still contribute to the rent of this place. It would be a problem. So that's why I thought Raven says yes, because Raven's got nothing to lose in this dynamic. Yeah. And he had everything to lose in the dynamic. Yeah. But I was still absolutely shocked when he said no and she said yes. So that was a shock. Yeah. Raven had grown on me.
Same. So people that had like character arcs were Raven.
And Whitney.
Whitney.
The villains of both seasons.
The villains of both seasons have become almost like endearing darlings. Colleen, I think, also had the arc, but I think the opposite direction. But actually, no, similar direction. She was a villain, and then she became this. We
thought that Colleen was kind of lame and boring, and then we were all like, Colleen, please leave this guy.
I think the thing also that I felt really endearing with Raven, and that kind of helped, was her embracing of the Nigerian culture, the relationship that she was having with SK's mother. SK's mother was...
that was the saddest thing about it.
It was so sad.
Flop of a relationship.
Exactly. Well, for those who don't know, of course he said no. At the reunion...
However,
yes, they are together.
Yes.
They are dating. They're still in a long-distance relationship.
Yep.
I think he's in...
LA,
and they're based in Texas, and they're navigating the long distance relationship.
They seem like they're having a good time. They've had sex finally.
Yeah, they've made that very clear. Even though I think SK was like, the razzle dazzle that Raven wanted was difficult because she goes to bed at 9:00. But I know that SK's mum would be very happy, and she was definitely one of the shining joys of that finale, alongside SK's brother, and having those advisors around him. And I think that's what added to this shock from the initial reason why he said no. And actually, it's also even more surprising that he only realised he was going to say no at the altar. So he didn't have to make a decision beforehand. So to me, it was given, you don't know what you want. Raven was going to say yes. She said she was going to. Yeah, when it came to the reunion, this is where I started to have big issues with the host and the way they were asking questions. in previous seasons, it's been very clear that Nick and Vanessa, they're not hosts.
No.
They're
viewers.
They're viewers. And the way they ask questions, which I think sometimes works, sometimes doesn't, is that they ask questions from a viewer perspective. Like, when I saw the wedding and you said no, that was the biggest shock. Or, you know...
My heart jumped.
Exactly. Or like Raven, when you were speaking to SK's mum, I was crying. How did that make you feel? I felt that worked. But what annoyed me the most was that we didn't get the details about how they
said no.
Yeah, firstly, and also how they reconciled.
Yeah.
Because to me, as a viewer, I want to understand, like, how long was it after SK said no to when they decided to start speaking again, start dating again, start hooking up? That was completely missed. And also, how are they actually navigating long distance? Because the question that Vanessa asked Raven about it was like, oh, Raven, how do you feel about long distance relationships? And what you know, when it kind of builds your relationships, when it's kind of makes your heart miss him or makes your heart go stronger when there's absence. She fed her the answers rather than asking Raven about actually how she felt and what actually happened.
I agree with you. I had two things about that. I think the first thing I had was that, like, I agree with you. Why did they not ask them what had happened post the relationship? And I saw an interesting TikTok that was basically like, Raven and SK are doing this for the publicity. And so they're not really together anyway. But it reads a lot better than pretending to be a couple than it does as two exes. On a season where the majority of the couples, if they had also flopped, had completely flopped. Yeah. That it's just like a marketing ploy. I don't know, and this is just me speaking, if I would decide to tie my success to a man if I came out of the show and I realised people really like me.
Yeah.
Because I think in the SK Raven thing of it all, people like SK because they think he's just like a really cool, chill dude, but actually people like who Raven is.
Yeah.
And as we said, like, Raven won me over in the end. And I wonder if it's because SK bolted at the altar.
Yeah, maybe. I think also, I agree and also disagree. Because I do think, had SK said yes and Raven also said yes, she would have had that peak arc that we wanted, or that she was going to have in terms of a storyline. But I think that because she was embracing the culture, the relationship had with her mum, I was already bought into Raven.
If Raven, at the end of the day, of the two couples, comes out better.
Yeah.
You know, you're right, there was something very weird about how they skim over the fact that he still jilted her at the altar.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But anyway, they're together, so we should move on. Post the show, however, there's been several TikToks about the fact that SK has been talking to girls on dating apps as if he doesn't have a partner, or as if to say, this is for publicity, this is for money.
Oh.
This isn't real. Yeah, those are the two takes that I've seen.
So I was going to jump onto that because in the reunion, Raven said, maybe before they announced they were back together, she was like, oh, we've been dating for a while, and every now and again SK shows me all the DMs he gets, and I'm like, oh yeah, girls, don't go for my man. She really makes it clear, like, oh, I know that you girls have been in his DMs, or I know that he has had interest. So when I started to see the DMs from other girls, it did make me think, well, if we had a more understanding of the timeline, because some of these people are saying this happened in April. Yeah. We are now in November. Time has moved on from when the show was 100%. Launched. So, yeah.
But the weird thing to me, like, if it was DMs, I would be like, oh, like, plausible deniability. There's something about meeting him on dating apps. Yeah. That's a little bit harder to explain, because what are you doing on a dating app if you have a girlfriend? Equally, you're right. Depending on when the experiment ended and how long it took the two of them to get back together, he would have been speaking to other people. Yeah. But some of those DMs are him saying, oh yeah, I'm dating someone, but it's for work. Oh, we're doing it for the publicity. It's not real. And then the girl being like, if it's not real, tell her about me. and then suddenly block Glee.
Yeah.
That made me think, oh no, he's just a dude on the internet talking to girls.
Yeah.
I hate to support racism in any way, but Nigerian men are gonna Nigerian men. Sorry.
The thing is, I didn't want...
SK of all people on the planet thinks that he's in a position to be talking and bigging up. When I told some of the girls that he was trying to get on dates with, they showed us TikToks. I said, Raven, greater than sign, any of these girls.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
In the previous episode, I was really raving for the redemption of the West African man or West African male portrayal, especially after Kwame from Married at First Sight UK. I was like, SK is shown as a positive representation of what a West African man, quote unquote, looks like. From a Nigerian perspective, he's repping his ends, he's waving his green and green flag. His full identity was Nigerian. Everything he talks about was Nigerian. My guy came in full native for the reunion. He knew with stripes of velvet. He knew what he was doing. That's his identity. Talking of race, it's very interesting because a lot of the TikToks I've seen are from white women.
Yes.
White blonde women, like Bartise's type.
Yeah. Well, I saw a tweet that said, SK, based on the women he's messaged on Hinge or on dating apps, clearly likes white women. Is it not possible that he heard Raven in the pods and thought she was going to be white?
Yeah. And actually, if you think about all the way to the beginning of episode 1, when Nick and Vanessa were doing the whole like preamble of like, why are you on this experiment? And SK was like, well, you know, the thing about dating apps is like, you can filter for race, you can filter for age, for height, etc. And the whole thing about this experiment is that you can go in fully blind, without any of these filters. And he's the one that definitely brought out the race.
Yes, it was
race
him.
point.
It was absolutely him.
Of course, as a producer, that's an amazing sound bite because that's what you want. You want people to acknowledge the importance of thinking about love beyond the boundaries or beyond the categories that we think about when we think about dating. But why him saying that specifically about race, and then all the people that he's dated have been not Raven in terms of look and aesthetic, but also a specific type, and maybe the type that he is getting filtered on dating apps. This will be a part of Dating Scribbles episode, but I was on TikTok, which for me sometimes can be a source of knowledge or a complete cesspool, depending on which TikTok you see. And there was a graph that showed like the races that are the most responded to on these apps, which I think is gone around before and been circulated, and they're very similar. And I think the main top line is that black women are responded to least, and Asian men as well. And then for some white men, I think black men are white women will respond less to black men. But sometimes I don't think it's vice versa. I don't think it's reciprocal. Mm-hmm. But maybe SK has just not experienced response from the type that he likes. And he was like, well, I'll go on this type of show, bit of publicity. Mind you, he knew he's having his masters. That's my biggest thing. We talked about it in the previous episode. And now he's got a bit of popularity, a bit of notoriety. He's now got the DMs of women that may be interested in him because of his soft-spoken, sweet Nigerian
he presents himself as a sort of amenable Nigerian. Yeah. Oh, you don't have to be perfect Nigerian wife for me. You have to be 25% of the way and I'm good.
And also I'm monogamous. I don't want to be like my father.
You are your father's son. Is what we're learning from all these girlies coming out.
You call yourself SK because you know it's more amenable to the white.
It's because those are the two letters of snake.
For the women that you like. I just think...
All we need is an N, an A, and an E. Spell your full name. SK, snake.
Oh, to me, it's just interesting. But I don't know where this couple is going to go. I think it's probably going to be for publicity. I don't have much faith in this couple. I'm happy that they got back together if it was genuine. I wish there was more details.
To be completely honest, I simply don't care.
About this particular couple?
I don't care about the couple. I care about Raven.
Yeah.
I don't care about SK.
I think Raven can be an influencer because I think we talked about it in the previous episode.
I said that she didn't have the personality. We have now learned that she absolutely does.
Yeah.
I genuinely think in that couple, the person I'm rooting for is Raven.
100%.
And I want the best for Raven, and I could give two shits about SK.
We'll see what happens.
I'm sorry. At the point where he rejected her and then said, because we have... The weirdest thing to me was people saying, I'm rejecting you because we have stuff we need to figure out. You don't think the married people figured stuff out when they got married?
Or the fact that the parents weren't there, or the fact that she didn't support the fact that you were going to study. You knew you were going to study, and she's not going to move in for you. I
just think a lot of the stuff, to me, I don't know, say what you will, but if it was me on that show, for you to reject me at the altar, you're saying that whatever our issues are, they're not resolvable.
Big. Yeah, exactly.
And so and this is the one thing I respect about Nancy. She said, I don't want to hear what you've got to say.
No.
Beyond the point where you were like, I feel like we have issues. She said, okay, cool, we have issues. Yeah. He was like, I'm willing to talk about it. She said, I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with you now.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, from where you rejected me like that, I'm not trying to recreate a relationship with you.
Yeah.
So that I'm spending every waking moment thinking you might reject me again.
No.
Oh, come on. Life's too short.
I don't know. Well, for couples like SK and Raven that have got together, even though they didn't say I do, we have G and Nina.
I think his name was Paul.
No, that wasn't his name.
What was his name?
I can't remember, but it's not Paul. But we had G and Nina and her partner. We had G and Nina and Damien, who said no. Or actually, no, Damien said no. But they still got back together afterwards, and they had a relationship for a significant period of time. But the point
was, by the reunion, after the altar, they were not together.
So I have a very similar prediction for these two. But
final thoughts. My final thought for this show, as it was with maths, all these people need to be in therapy. Every single one of them needs to be in therapy. They should not be in relationships. Someone like Bartise, I don't know if you can save him.
No.
I think he is textbook narcissist to me.
Yeah.
He thought he was the main character in that relationship. He thought he was the hottest person in the relationship. He thought Nancy was punching above her weight in that relationship. And honestly, you are wrong.
Yeah.
Cole and Zeynab both need to be in therapy.
Yeah.
Cole to grow up, Zeynab to grow a thicker skin.
Yeah.
Even Alexa and Brennon, you grew up poor, and that gives you a very particular mindset. And that doesn't necessarily make you good at making money. It just makes you deathly afraid of being poor.
Yeah.
And that could be very grating to be married to someone who is constantly terrified that if you cough too loudly, one of you will die. So, therapy. And Matt, I mean, obviously therapy. And who's left? SK and Raven. Again, I don't think you save someone like SK. If the cheating rumors are true, you don't save that man.
No.
He's gonna cheat. I think the wild thing, and do you know what? That's why I think it is probably true. The people who get up and go, I don't want to be like my dad. He was out here fucking 2, 3, 4 women. That ain't me. Cut to that being you.
Wow. That's
you
deep.
have to be in this life self-aware.
Yeah.
You have inherited some bad traits from what you saw.
Yeah.
And to sit here and say, no, I haven't inherited nothing. No, there's parts of it that you have, and clearly cheating on your wife is one of them. If that's true.
Allegedly.
I
think for this series, from an entertainment perspective, a viewer perspective, I find it a lot more entertaining than series 2. With these type of shows, I need a balance of love and drama, and I think there were instances where we got way too much drama and not enough love, and maybe towards the end with the weddings, it started to balance out a little bit. But really and truly, 40% of the couples said I do. Okay, if you want to add SK and Raven, is now 60%. Maybe 50 to 60% of them are together. But I still feel like we're not gonna get series 1. We need to take ourselves the pedestal off that. But I did find this series entertaining.
Yeah, super entertaining.
The couples, I agree with you. Therapy is required. I still go back to like, where are they finding them?
I'm telling you, they pick specifically the most vulnerable people in society.
And they're picking also the entertainment.
No, but that's what's entertaining, because if you're vulnerable, it means that you're going to be honest in those situations. If we pay you someone who is honest but the exact opposite of you, you're going to have a hard time, and that's going to be drama.
Exactly. So I do think that as a show and how it was built, I think it was produced very well. And I also like the breaking of the fourth wall in instances, whether it's the Andrew teardrops, whether it's the cuties moment.
That was brilliant.
I think those were
Great
chef-kissed moments from the show.
Yeah.
I do hope that there is some resolution for the more problematic couples, particularly Cole and Zeynab and Matt and Colleen. It was very concerning. Intervention is needed, and I think some of that needs to be done from a production perspective. I don't know what well-care and well-being is being put in place for those couples. But overall, let's rate it. Thoughts? What are we rating it?
Out of 5?
Is that we do it normally out of 5, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say this was a 3.54 out of 5 for me in terms of entertainment.
3.5 or 4.5?
Yeah, 3.5 or 4.
Okay, for me,
somewhere in between there.
Okay, I think I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay.
I don't know what I gave maths, but Married at First Sight. But
I can't remember.
I did think it was a really good series.
I enjoyed the series for sure, much better than the second series.
Oh, 100%. Roll on the After the Ulster special.
I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. I messaged our group chat and was just like, I think the craziest thing about that cutie stories is that we've got to wait a year.
Yeah.
To really find out the truth about it.
Exactly. Because Zeynab tried to put in the weirdest apology.
Yeah,
it wasn't
I'm
an apology.
Sorry you took this personally. I'm sorry you got offended. Listen, just shut up sometimes.
Yeah. So that was Love is Blind Series 3.
Love is Blind drama aside.
Yeah, drama aside. Love is blindsided with some of this. But I think we should talk about what we're going to review next week.
What are we going to review next week?
Well, so we're going to do another reality show, but in a different context. No romance this time. Well, I don't know. We're going to talk about The Mole.
The Mole is a Netflix show and it is absolutely perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It is so entertaining. I've been talking about The Mole all week.
I haven't finished it yet.
I've suggested The Mole to people. We're talking about drama shows. I'm like, you have to watch The Mole.
I'm imagining it's got drama.
The Mole is a perfect dissection of human nature. Yeah. And this is the thing. This is why we review drama and reality on this podcast, because the drama that you get from reality TV shows, you could not write. Because if you wrote it, a producer or a commissioner or an actor or a director will tell you, this is too big. People would never do that. And then you sit down and you watch something like The Mole and you're like, oh, people be doing that. People really be doing that. I loved it. I watched it in one day and I can't wait to talk about it with you.
Ooh, I can't wait. Okay, well, this has been Scripts and Giggles with Shoshanna. Bye. Bye.
And I do love you guys so much. I realise now I've done this in a few episodes, but I just want you to know that if we were at the end of an altar together, I probably would say no. I would say no. Because I think we need some time to grow.
Don't be SK.
And heal.
Don't be Cole.
No, if you look as peng as I imagine you all look, we're getting married.
All right, thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.